Like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillar. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to get the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure this happens. And if you're also been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead, hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. Share the content. There are so many people who need to get great content like this. And it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are going to deal with a subject that some people would probably see as a little intense. And that's okay. That's okay. They're going to be all right, y'all. They're gonna be all right, but it'll be a subject matter that they may really kind of see as a little bit intense, and but we got to get into it anyway, y'all. We're gonna deal with the fact that we have K. Michelle. Okay, K. Michelle begs black men to build a community that she refuses to be worthy of. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say that again, y'all. K. Michelle begs black men to build a community she refuses to be worthy of. Yeah, that's a very interesting thing, and some people may see that title and be like, "Wow!" But over here at the Roger Report Live, we just keep it real, man. I ain't got time to be worried about how y'all feel about something. We got to keep it real at the end of the day. So we're going to deal with the fact that K. Michelle has been out here begging black men to build a community she refuses to be worthy of, which is crazy in itself. But before we go too far into this, and I got to give credit what credit is due. We got people who come through and they support the show and they mean a great deal to the show. And all of them are extremely appreciated no matter how much they do. big or small, I do appreciate it all. So, of course, I got to say shout out to the sponsor of today's stream, my main man, Gregory Scotland. He is the sponsor of the stream. Shout out to you, Gregory. Appreciate you, brother, for all that you do. Every little bit helps, and Gregory does more than a little bit, but every little bit helps. But shout out to Gregory. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you for what you've done, man. And you are helping to make the greatest show in social media. So, hey, that's something we can all hang our hats on, right? Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. And let me give some shout outs to some of the first people checking in this morning. It's always great when you start a show that you see people start checking in right away. It's always good to see. But y'all know how it goes. Over here at the Roger Report Live, there can only be one. So shout out to the Highlander of today's stream, my main man, Afro Merchant. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you here. We got the righteous teacher in the building as well. Shout out to you, brother. My main man, Tunnel Runner, is in the house. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? We got Trail Benny checking in. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's baby. Hashtag hell Hydra. Shout out to you, brother. Always great to see you. The the Saute Sheriff is in the house representing for the pit crew. Also, Mr. Shug to you is in the building. Shout out to Sarah B. Hey, Sarah. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. We got my main man, y'all, coolest man in show business, the guy who keep things in order over here at the Roger Report Live, because sometimes I might let it get a little wild, but shout out to Chef Mike's Round Table, keeping us in check. You know, he does this thing representing with the pit crew. Couldn't ask for a better man to handle this and ask for better recruits, because shout out to him. He making it happen. He done brought the other two brothers in. And speaking of the other two brothers, the deputy on the grill is right behind him. Shout out to J Dub. Good to have you, my brother. Good to have you. You are getting the next wrench, which should be very shortly, brother. Very shortly. Always good to have you in the building, though. Always good to have you in the building. And y'all, I just want to say I do actually appreciate y'all. Shout out to my main man, A.L. Evans is in the building. Yay. Good to see you. Good to see you. Copper D is in the house. Shout out to you, Copper D. Lee's Way is in the building. What's going on, Lee's Way? Glad to see you, brother. Glad to see you. Okay. Inspired Truth Broadcast is here. Why Skinner Man Cave is also checking in. Good to have y'all here, y'all. Good to have y'all here. You know, we gonna y'all, I'm laughing. Copper D. Copper D, okay. Copper D said, still trying to figure out yesterday's show. Should you approach or not? Shout out to you, Copper D. Shout out to you. Hey, man, I'm still gonna say you should approach. You know, you black men should not be looking to give away power. I'm just gonna keep it real. Black men should not be looking to give away power, whether it's something that you see is extremely hardcore, or even if you see it as something that don't really matter that much. We shouldn't be looking to give away no power at all. But Copper D, that was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you, y'all. Now, of course, I put a couple links in the description. Y'all, I ain't gonna say I was avoiding this K. Michelle Cam Newton situation. I was not avoiding it. I saw it a few days ago. I saw a clip, saved the clip. I said, I'm gonna have to watch this. There's got to be some interest that may have to be dealt with. And then I finally watched the clip yesterday to see what was being said. So yeah, okay, I caught it. Now, out of fairness to Cam Newton and brothers like himself and what K. Michelle was actually presenting, you know, a lot of times I start watching the whole interview. Now, I will say in this one, I will admit, I only watched the first hour of this particular interview, but the first hour is actually where the clip came from. Now, I might end up watching the rest of the interview, but I did actually start watching, because I was going to watch the whole interview. But the whole interview turned out to be over 2 hours long. So cool. Not saying that that's a bad thing. Not saying that that's a bad thing. But I did watch the first hour because I was like, well, let me get up and watch the rest of the interview. Because a lot of times I'm going to see more than what I present to y'all. You know, I throw some clips and stuff out there, but a lot of times I've seen a lot of stuff that goes along with those clips, you know, so I have a little bit more information and just a little bit more prepared. So I say I'm going to watch the full interview, but I just didn't expect it to be over 2 hours longer talking to K. Michelle. But I should have took into account it is Cam Newton at the end of the day. All right. And, you know, not to diss Cam, because if y'all really know Roger, y'all know I like Cam. Okay, real talk. Y'all know I like Cam Newton. All right, but Cam Newton does be taking a female side, okay? Just for the fact that it's a woman, not for the fact that she's right. And hearing him say some of the things that he said, it gives a little bit more context to why he does what he does. Because he says he's trying to protect people. All right. Now, K. Michelle may have stirred up a couple fires here and there. Shout out to Champ Car for Life. I see you in the building, brother. Now, K. Michelle may have stirred some fires back up because she did this thing that black women do on a regular basis. And that's why I say black men got to get used to this. You got to understand what a traitor is. And you got to understand a person who doesn't actually belong. Now, K. Michelle views herself as part of the black community, and she views herself as part of the overall black community. And this is the thing, y'all. There's two major separations. I'm gonna keep saying this until people get it. You're gonna have to get this. There's two major subsections of the black community. There are respectable men who, you know, who are productive men, okay, functional men that believe in black men's leadership. Our wives and the children that live in our homes. We have a great community. Okay, real talk. We got a great community. Our community is fine. You can find our people, hang out with our people, and have a good time. Our community, cool. Now, there is another community that is always going to get some light due to white supremacy because they're going to do the best they can to highlight it every way that they can. And it's also an issue because even black people are taught to be white supremacists. If you grow up in this country, you are taught to be a white supremacist. It is your personal responsibility to let that stuff go, even though a lot of people do not, which is why most people in America are participating in white supremacy at some type of level. But at the end of the day, you know, a lot of black men are going to shake it off first because it's actually aimed at us. It's not aimed at black women. You know, I know a lot of black women like to feel like something. They like to feel like something is aimed at them, just like you can feel like a Chevy is a Porsche. It ain't no Porsche, it's still a Chevy. You know, and I'm good with Chevys. You know, I done rode around in Chevys. I remember us having Chevys back in the day, you know. So I like Chevy, but a Chevy ain't no Porsche. It just is what it is. All right. And black women like to feel like they're being attacked, even though they're not. Just is what it is. Now, if they're in the way of something where they're attacking the black man, can they get attacked because they're in the way? Absolutely. Or if they, quote unquote, get out of pocket with white folks, can they get attacked? Absolutely. It can happen, but there is no actual aim to do anything to them. Okay. There's no actual aim to do anything to them. Okay. Now, K. Michelle was talking to Cam. Okay. And I think Cam likes to be interviewed just as much as he likes to give an interview. I'll say that, y'all, because I've watched a few Cam Newton interview a few folks. Because like I said, I like to go and get all the background stuff that's going on too. So it seemed to me that Cam liked to be interviewed as much as he liked to interview. Which I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying that's bad. It's his show. He do how he want to do on his show. It is what it is. But again, y'all, I left a couple links in the description. And you got K. Michelle, you know, and she was making it personal at times, but then she would make it general. But then she'd come back to personal, then make it general. And this is the thing, y'all. Her whole thing was she wanted to attack Cam Newton and black men as a whole, but put a special highlight on the quote unquote more successful black men to say that something's wrong with what they're doing. Now, this is the thing that is crazy work, y'all. If you listen to the interview, You know, and the clip I found out that's in this thing is in the first hour of the interview, because I told you I watched a little bit of, well, I watched a little bit more than the first hour, but I watched the first hour because I was gonna watch the whole thing. It was a 2 hour something minute thing, so I just didn't expect it to be that long, but it was. I should have known better. It is what it is. you know. Um, you know, now there's a link in the description. Somebody asked me to also add, which is talking about how black women have this infatuation and trying to believe that white men want something good for them. There was part of that interview in that as well. Now this is the thing. K. Michelle expressed herself also, and in her mind, just like most black women, white men are just better. Some black men care a little bit too much about that, but it is what it is. White men are just better than them. White men cannot do wrong in their eyes. And they do see wrong in black men no matter what you do. And they want black men to protect them, which I got to give a shout out to Cam. That's what Cam been doing the whole time. See, as I listen to Cam and he started saying some stuff that I haven't heard him say before, Cam been protecting he's been protecting the quote unquote black women he done had children with for a long time, because he don't want to say they dirt. He don't want to say what's wrong with them. And even though he tried to talk around it, I kind of peeped game on what was going on. Okay, I kind of peeped game on what's going. So hey, I'm gonna say Cam been doing a great job trying to protect the women, and maybe he was doing it for this children's sake, whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, y'all, we got to keep it real about stuff. We got to keep it real. And the thing is, Cam don't have no reason to throw the women he's had children with under the bus. But K. Michelle was in there probing. So my thing is, if Cam gave a little too much information off where people like myself can figure out what's going on, that's on K. Michelle for asking those questions. And Cam now Cam was trying to protect those women. K. Michelle kept digging. It is what it is. But y'all, we have a woman. If you don't know, K. Michelle has been a successful singer. Okay. And she's begging for black men to quote unquote create homes. Now, if you thought a person was younger, probably a little bit more naive, not really knowing what's up, that question might make some sense. That ain't K. Michelle. K. Michelle is a baby mama. Now, that's not new information. That came out in an interview. Okay? If you watch what I watched, like I said, I watched a little bit more than the first hour. She said it in an interview. She was going to college, messed around, got pregnant, decided to keep the baby, which makes her what? A baby mama. Now, this baby mama, who is an official loser. Now, if y'all don't know what that is, over here at the Roger Report Live, we just make it clear. What's a loser? A woman who lives in America, because I don't know how it works in other places. I know there's a lot of places who have things similar to America. But if you live in America, okay, you live in America, and you have not been married as a woman, and you make it to the age of 30, okay, you a loser officially. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you just became a loser. Now, you've been a loser the whole time, but you an official loser at the age of 30, because there's no excuse for you at that point. When no man will marry you and actually make a wife out of you, you are a loser. And there's things that are wrong with you. And I can tell you right now, if you just look at K. Michelle, everything I'm saying holds out. Okay. She is just another example of this. When you're a loser, there's stuff wrong with you. And a loser has yet to say, hey, you know what? I'm out here losing. I need to figure out what's wrong with me so I can win. Now, K. Michelle did what a lot of losers do. K. Michelle claims that 3 guys wanted to marry her. That was her claim. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not saying she lying. But y'all think about it. Only a loser would entertain a man to the point that he's going to propose just for her to turn the proposal down. Because you know what women don't do? They don't turn down proposals from perceived winners. Now, I'm not saying any of the guys weren't winners, because women choose to be stupid on a regular basis, y'all. That's why I keep trying to tell y'all, stupidity is a choice. Okay? I don't know who the guys were. I'm not saying there was anything wrong with the guys. But at the end of the day, she perceived those guys as losers. Now, them guys could be hella winners. Okay? Real talk. They could be winning in a way that most of us will never get to. But to K. Michelle, they're losers. Because only losers deal with losers. And I'm going to just tell you, if you watch the clips, it's kind of easy to figure out what's going on. You ain't got to guess so much. You should already know. But it might just be a situation where the guys she was involved with just weren't white. Because K. Michelle love her some white men. Okay? she love her some white men. She made that clear. She love her some white men. And I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with that. If a black woman wants to go over to white folks and be a part of their community, have at it at the end of the day. But what you probably shouldn't do is try to talk about the black community when you're trying to be with a white man. And why are you asking black men for stuff if you're trying to be with a white man? That doesn't make sense. Now, I can understand a white woman coming to black men saying, hey, can y'all do something? Because I want to participate in your community. I want to marry one of you guys. I could see that. Okay. Still a little bit out of place because she really should be asking her husband if she wants something done. But it makes some level of sense. Okay. Not saying it's right, but it makes some level of sense. Now, my thing is, K. Michelle wants to be part of the white community. So why is she asking black men for anything? It doesn't make sense. And see, these are the type of thought processes we got to really develop in the black community. We got to develop this stuff. Okay? Because why is she asking us for anything? And then she was making it a general thing, but then she kept coming back to make it personal for Cam Newton. You know, well, Cam Newton, you're the handsome guy. You're a successful guy. You got all this clout. We're looking for you to change the narrative. Like what Cam Newton do is going to change the narrative. Because let's keep it real. The moment Cam Newton marries some woman, black women ain't going to study him no more. Let's just keep that real. And all they're going to talk about is something he did before he got married. Because all they're going to do is throw stones at him anyway. Let's just keep that real. Black women do not go out their way to promote any of the men who, quote unquote, did it the right way based on even what they say. I'm not saying the right way for real. When did y'all see black women giving props to any black man who did it, quote unquote, the right way? Even by their own perceptions, not legitimate, logical stuff. I'm just saying whatever their perception is of good. Do you see them praising black men who did anything? You know, I'm not going to say you can't find a black woman who gives praise to some black man. But let's keep it real. Collectively, which black man do black women like? They don't even like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Black women talk about the fact that he cheated on his wife, which no one has evidence or has ever proved. But they talk about that all the time. Who they like, y'all? Who do they like? Black women always looking for a reason to tear down a black man. Even if they see him perceived by white folks as being good, they try to find some way to tear him down. And that's just what they've been doing. Okay? Truth be told, there's only one black guy I can actually even say. There is one guy I can say. One, I'm literally, because I'm a fair person, y'all. There's actually one black man I can see that black women have given props to. And I haven't heard them say anything about tearing him down. There's literally one guy. Literally one. Only one. The only one I haven't heard them talking crazy about is Denzel. Yep, Denzel Washington, y'all. He is literally the only black man that I have yet to see black women try to tear down. Every other one of them, I've heard a lot of negative stuff about. Once they reach a certain level of fame, they talk bad about it. I mean, they talking bad about Michael B. Jordan. They have talked bad about Michael Jordan. You know, name any random black man. They didn't talk bad about the dude. Think about it, y'all. Any random black man you name, they done talk bad about him. Denzel is like the only dude I can remember that I haven't actually heard black women talking down on. Literally. It's all these years, it's been one dude. You know, that's crazy. Shout out to Trell Bentley. He say Michael Ealy. No. Even Michael Bentley, even Michael Ealy. Remember, they was talking about Michael Ealy's probably LGBT. Remember that? So now they done talk bad on him too. So I can't even say Michael Ealy. I'll give you they ain't talk as bad as much about Michael. I give you that. But they was calling him gay. Okay. Real talk. They was calling him gay. You know. So far, Denzel the only one who done slid through. Like literally one dude, y'all. It's been one black man out of all the millions of black men who've been a part of this country. I can only come up with one black man that I ain't heard black women talk bad on. Real talk. Only one. Literally only one. You get famous as a black man, they coming for your throat. And this is the thing, y'all. Well, matter of fact, before I even go there, let me see what Mr. Shooty you gonna say is here. He says if you happen to find black women praising you as a black man, you seriously have to take a step back and reconsider some of your life choices. With the exception of Denzel. You know what, Mr. Sugar to you are 100% correct, brother. You are 100% correct. Real talk. Okay, because we good with Denzel, but let's keep it real. You know, black women know Denzel ain't gonna kiss no white woman on film, and I'm pretty sure that's the reason they ain't said nothing bad about him. But it is what it is. Okay, shout out to Denzel Washington. Shout out to that brother. But one of our own Rufus Nice Guy winners. So shout out to Denzel Washington. Real talk. So now we got K. Michelle sitting here begging Cam Newton. And y'all, my thing is, I'm not going to dog K. Michelle. I ain't going to let other people come up and dog K. Michelle. The thing is, K. Michelle is a woman doing a thing that a lot of black women do in general. Okay? And she said successful men. And yeah, she did kind of bring it personal to Cam, but then she was taking it away from Cam. So the thing is, she was including some of everybody. All right? And she wants to know why Cam didn't build a family. Now, Cam actually let it slip. He didn't say it in these words, but if you actually start listening to this interview, because she was like, well, why didn't Cam Newton just stay with the woman that he got pregnant the first time with? Well, the thing is, she was rebellious. See, Cam did say, I was being rebellious myself, and I looked for a woman that was also being rebellious. Now, I'm going to say flaw in Cam's plan is when you go looking for a rebellious woman, do you think she's not going to rebel against you? Hey, that comes with the territory. She's rebellious. So she's going to rebel against you too. But the thing is, K. Michelle, she was given this gift to be a singer. She's been a professional singer. You know, she said her granddaddy was this great example of a man. I saw my granddaddy raising 9 kids. You know, my grandmama died, so he was doing it by himself. Now, I don't know why she wasn't talking more about her own dad and her own mama. So, questions there. Why were they left out the conversation? Okay, why weren't you raised by your daddy? Or at least the impression she gave as if she was raised by her granddaddy. But why not mentioning of your dad? I wonder what's going on there. I wonder what's going on. Do you even know your father? Okay, do you even know your father? But see, the thing is, you say you was dealing with 3 men who proposed. So what was you doing with 3 men who got comfortable enough to propose to you if you about something yourself, and then got the nerve as a baby mama? Because y'all, okay, as a baby mama, she did. Now, and remember, y'all, I want y'all to remember this. She went to college and she said she won some kind of like a beauty pageant type of thing, Miss Freshman or something like that. She won something and had to give up her title because she got pregnant. So she was in college and got pregnant. I don't know what that's about. I don't know why you get to college then get pregnant. I don't get it, but hey, it is what it is. So this woman who's a baby mama is asking people like Cam Newton why he won't create a home. Make it make sense, y'all. Why is the baby mama asking why a man won't build a home with black women? And that's all she wanted, y'all. She didn't say nothing about qualified black women. Now, she did say this thing that, I mean, she K. Michelle, though, so I kind of get it why she don't know no better. But she did put out this, well, black women is making more money than black men, which still ain't true. Now, I do understand we have an entire country geared to make that happen, but black men have not allowed it to happen, regardless if the whole country is pushing stuff that way. They still haven't done it. But that is the goal. Now, I can expect that K. Michelle don't know no better. Not that I'm going to let her off the hook for not knowing any better, because she rich herself. She's a singer. So she got into a career that makes a little bit more money. So, is she richer than the average black man? Yes, she is, but she don't make more money than black men herself. And obviously the black men who make the type of money that, she would try to engage with don't want her at the end of the day because she's not married. Y'all. And the thing is, y'all never think a woman is turning down a wedding proposal because she is in the right. No, women turn down wedding proposals for a lot of crazy reasons. But the main thing is she can't see you as a winner even when you're a winner. And a lot of times women can't see you as a winner because you're black. Now, I don't know the color of the men that she turned down wedding rings to. Doesn't matter at the end of the day. If you a baby mama and you date somebody who's comfortable enough to propose and you tell them no, again, y'all, stupidity is a choice. Why are you that open with somebody who wants to marry you and then you tell that guy no? Especially if you're a baby mom. It's dumb enough if you just a woman that did it on your own. But you already a baby mom and you saying no? Now, the thing is, y'all may say, well, you know what? K. Michelle's a singer, though. She could have been rich. Y'all think K. Michelle was talking to some regular, everyday, average people? Is that what y'all really think? I doubt that one. So I doubt the ring she turned down was some regular, everyday, average person. I'm pretty sure these were other rich men who didn't need her at all. But she probably turned them down anyway. And I'm assuming because they were black. Because I personally do not believe for a hot second that K. Michelle had a white man propose to her, but she turned them down. Have y'all ever heard of a black woman turn down a white man's proposal? Let's be real. But I do have a guest in backstage, so I'm going to get ready to bring him up. Let him give his thoughts on the situation. Oh, look, he done dipped back out. He jumped out and came back up. He must have got knocked out. Oh, no, there he goes. There he goes. Boom. Okay, I was going to say. All right, my main man AL is here. AL, I'm going to let you take it. Go where you want with it, brother.
Nah, I ain't gonna do all that, because if I do that, then you be working on challenge number 7. So I can't do that. I can't have a brother who's coming down on me because I want to be the one rebel. But what I am gonna do is speak my truth from what I know and what I have been paying attention to. But before we do that, good morning, Roger. Good morning, sir. Long live the habitual line steppers. Y'all know how we do. Yay, yay. But Rob, before we go and before I get into this, you wrong. You said the only guy you know is Denzel. Sir, can you say Samuel Jackson? Sir, can you say Morgan Freeman? Sir, can you say Forrest Whitaker?
No,
I can keep going.
no,
I
no,
can
no.
keep
I have heard
going.
them talk bad about Samuel L. Jackson. That's
You
for sure.
have?
Oh,
You have?
absolutely. Yeah.
How, other than him being married to Pauletta for as long as to his wife, just like Denzel been married to his wife as long as he has. He ain't cheated on his wife.
Black women been talking crazy about Sam Jackson for a long time, and one of the main thing that he's known for, they was talking about he a problem because he cursed too much.
What? Man, look at here.
Now I'm
Don't be,
just saying what's real, bro. I can't tell you everything, but I just know what I know.
yeah,
And they made a huge issue when white people started saying something about him cursing the way he do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying people can't criticize people for certain things that they do, but black women jumped on that ship and started saying it too.
man, look. Those are stone
He's only done that
throwers.
for specific roles.
And we don't pay stone throwers too much mind. But anyway, let me get back to my opening statement. This woman is a flat out hypocrite. Period. Point blank. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's the nicest way I can put it without even cursing. And you know what? And I know I can feel a curse word coming on, but I respect your show, so I'm gonna just respectfully digress and pass it to who is this? H Rebels or AB Media, one of the two. Because trust me, that woman, that performer she put on them crocodile tears and overly sounding country when she knows she ain't, knowing her R&B career is at a dead end crossroads. Why you gotta go play Follow the Leader with Beyonce? We already got one token black chick trying to cosplay for white in country music. You really think they want you? Oh, and when she said, "Oh, white men love her," the delusion is real in that one. The delusion is real. But I digress.
All right, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Now, anybody who trying to say something, now I just said I don't remember a black guy who's got rich and famous that black women haven't collectively gone after. So when he said Sam Jackson, yes, I have heard black women go after him. It was a
Okay.
certain time. I don't remember when it happened exactly when, but there was a certain point where people started getting on Sam Jackson for cursing too much. You know, I'm not saying people don't have a right to their opinion, but black women jumped all on his back when the white people said something about him cursing. You know, now he's beloved for cursing, but at the end of the day, before he became beloved for cursing, they was trying to make an issue of him cursing. You know, and there was a lot of stuff that didn't came up with all that. But I ain't gonna get into that because I ain't gonna change the subject of the show. We dealing with K Michelle begging black men to build this community that she don't want to be worthy to participate in. And I'm gonna say this, y'all, and I've said this before publicly. K Michelle was a chick I liked. I saw K Michelle, and I like K Michelle. I was like, okay, she bad. And then K Michelle started doing all kinds of crazy stuff, you know. So she like the second woman that I seen. I was like, okay, she bad. You know what I'm saying? What's up with her? And then next thing I know, she doing a bunch of crazy stuff, you know. Because I said before, I like Gabrielle Union. When somebody asked me who's your celebrity crush, but I don't do celebrity crushes. So they was like, okay, well, you got to pick a celebrity. And I was like, well, let's go with Gabrielle Union because she at that point was quiet from a media perspective. We didn't know all this stuff was. We didn't know she was a loon. But eventually it came out at the end of the day. I liked it because she was quiet, wasn't involved in no controversy or nothing like that. Nice looking lady. You get to know about it, you find out she crazy too. It's a crazy world out here. But H Rebels, you got the flow, my brother. AB Media, you gonna come in right after him, and then we get Champ Car for Life right after AB Media.
Well, yeah. So shout out to you, Roger, as the host. I'm glad you're actually talking about this topic because I've been looking at. I watched that video, all 7 minutes of it, and sitting there and listening to her babble. The thing is that because he listened, which is good, and at the end he talked about accountability for both black men and women. So he didn't talk about that. He acknowledged things that he had done.
You bargain too much. I was trying to let it rock. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, you might want to stay. Are you traveling?
All right.
Because if you're not traveling, you might want to stay where you are.
No, that's fine. Go ahead and let somebody else go. I'll go ahead and come back up. I'll just go ahead and let somebody else go.
Because you do sound great right now. I was saying if you're traveling, I deal with it.
Yeah, I am driving. I meant to tell you that. Sorry,
just go ahead.
I'm driving again.
No. Go ahead and get to the opening statement because you sound good right now. We're just gonna deal with it. Go ahead.
Yeah. But at any rate, So at the end, Cam Newton did acknowledge, "Hey, look, I made some mistakes, but you know what? Let's talk about accountability for myself and then for women too, right?" So he actually threw in black women. The thing is that her entire rant was basically using Cam Newton as an avatar to basically dump on all black men and blame all black men.
I'm trying to bear with it.
Okay.
All right, H. We just totally lost you, man. We done totally lost you. Okay, he can't even hear me responding. Okay, AB, just go on jump in there, brother. Go on jump in there.
What's going on, Roger? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Shout out to Dave Chappelle. We the black delegation will give you K Michelle for free. We don't care. We'll give you K Michelle for free.
And we ain't asking for a trade back neither for nothing. Y'all can keep that. AB right. Go ahead, brother.
How could I say this? She wasn't worth crap 5 years ago when she went on. Why are we listening to her now? Go away. Go find a white man that'll deal with you and be happy. I'm sure you're gonna have to pay him, but go and find white simp that'll be happy with you and go on with your life. We don't care.
Yeah, because white men love
her. Allegedly.
Shout out to Afro Mercy. He say they can have it for 57 cents.
No, screw that. They can have it for free. I wouldn't sell for it.
Yeah. Afro Mercy wrong as hell. We said he just said that.
I wouldn't even sell it for a penny.
Said you trade her for free. She ain't worth 57 cents. We only want 57 cents.
She ain't worth half a penny. They can have her for free.
Afro Mercy trying to make some type of profit off the deal. He said, y'all ain't gonna choose me to be no bad general manager. I got to leave with something. I
come from the David Carroll School. I'll pack your bags and send you over there.
Well, y'all know over here at the Roger Report Live, that 57 cents is strong at the Roger Report Live. The 57 cent means something.
Roger, I'm telling you.
I truly believe that 57 cents is why you on channel number 6, goddammit. That's the whole reason. See, y'all don't want to face reality. I see it for what it is. That 57 cents at the Rare Bentley starting at 57 cents way back in the gap is the reason why you on channel number 6, channel number 7. You better cut that shit out. Raise the rate.
I'm probably supposed to pay 57 cents for what they used to call it, security, insurance. I'm supposed to probably pay somebody 57 cents a day for insurance, and I ain't paying it.
Yeah, Roger, I can't stay long, but before I go, there's no reason my man Roger should be barely at 300 subscribers. Y'all put the word out and subscribe to this man to build his channel back. I'm out.
Well, I appreciate that. Real talk.
Visual line scepters.
Yeah. But y'all do remember when a person loses a channel, it is harder for even their own audience to find them. You can look me up, but I don't pop up. So it's going to take people a while, which I already know because I done been through this before. It takes people a while to find you again. So it is what it is. They'll be back, and we'll have some other ones too. So yeah, I probably need to pay a little 57 cent protection money. That's probably what I need to do. 57 cents a day probably is what it is. But Champ Call for Life, I'm gonna let you have the phone. Go ahead, my brother.
What's going on? Good morning, brothers.
Morning, brother.
Wow. 57 cents. That's how low you can go right there. But this is a failed swirler who has failed at everything. And her coming up on the Cam Newton show, on the Cam Newton podcast, she's doing this because she's trying to be seen again. She wants people to acknowledge her and everything else. You know, back in 2011, 2012, back in the Olympics, she was talking about this white Olympic swimmer who she was trying to get with and everything else. And that guy publicly insult her, degrade her publicly, talk about how he wasn't going to get with K. Michelle is fine, but I'm not going to get with her ghetto or ratchet behavior publicly. And there were a couple of black Olympic athletes that came out publicly to defend her and everything. Tyson Gay came, I think it was this sprinter named Tyson Gay or something like that. I think that's his name. He came out publicly against him for that. Lolo Jones and everything. You know, this is a lady, you know, there's something about these sisters who get with white men and then lecture the black community. And it comes, you know, and it's something that was started, you know, that the Black Lives Matter stuff was being included. A lot of these Black Lives Matter leaders had was these black ladies who were leading the Black Lives Matter.
You got to say the organization because there was two different Black Lives Matter, so you got to say the organization.
Okay, the organization. Okay, the organization was led by black women who had white spouses and everything else. And they're sitting up there, and she's the type of lady that just wags her finger and everything else, but at the same time trying to curl back with white men. And every time she tries to go with white men and all that type of stuff, they diss her publicly and everything else. I mean, this lady, you know, first of all, she needs to look in the mirror and ask herself, what's wrong with me? Why I'm being rejected and everything else? Why can't a black man why can't I find love with a black man? It's you, lady. It's you. Okay? You made the wrong decision with some of these men that you've been trying to hang around with, and you rejected three men and everything else. I wonder if they were good black men who were not about, you know, the thug life and all that type of stuff. Some of these sisters, you know, the type of men that they want, you know, these Pookies, these Ray-Rays and all that type of stuff. And when they find that and everything else, all of a sudden they're trash and everything else. They don't want good black men. They really want good white men. They want the black men to act white and everything else, you know, but that's her just projected and everything else. She just wants to be seen and all that type of stuff. So I'm going to land my plane. I want to hear what H-Revs have to say. And I also want to hear what Red Pill Secret Cell have to say as well, too, because I want to hear those two guys, especially H-Revs, now he's back on.
All right. Well, I'm going to give it to Red Pill Sleepers. Well, no, you know what, H-Rev, let me give it to you. Did you work out your connection issues? What we doing?
I think I'm at a point now where I should be good. I'm getting ready to go hit a strong city, so my signal should be good. But at any rate, I'll try to, if you let me, I'll go ahead and try to, get it out real quick in the next couple of minutes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so look, she ran it for about 7 minutes. And shout out to Cam Newton for listening to her and not interrupting. But the thing is that she put a lot of the responsibility on the men, as a lot of women do, and very little responsibility and accountability to the women. Now, she did kind of throw in women a couple of times here and there. She said we, she said us, but she kept pointing to black men as if somehow black men are responsible for this problem, when the reality is that women like her, and there's a lot of them, who are not presenting themselves as suitable wives and mothers, and they're not worthy of marriage. She did point to Cam Newton and all the stuff that he was saying, and we know about his situation. He's not actually abandoning his kids. He's actually taking care of his kids. We don't know his actual details of it, but the bottom line is that there's nothing wrong with what it is he's doing. The issue is that she's trying to present herself as this woman who's reputable, who's marriageable, who's worthy of a good man. And remember, she's turned down marriages. She actually created a broken home herself. And now that she's well past her desirability and she's made a lot of mistakes, now she's trying to come back and tell us what it is that we need to be doing. And she was talking about successful men. Well, you notice that she didn't say productive black men. She only she kind of focused on these top tier, quote unquote, high value successful men. Well, if a black woman gets with a productive black man, he is successful and he's doing what he's supposed to do, which is what the women should be doing. So they're missing that also. So she just did a lot of things wrong as it relates to this tirade that she went on. But the bottom line is that there's very little accountability to the women. She put it all on the men, or the majority on the men, and she's not emphasizing their
All right, we losing him, but he said she's not interested in somebody who's doing what they're supposed to be doing. That was his going away words, because he's going away for sure. All right, Red Pill Sleeper Cell, good to have you back. You got the flow, my brother. Uh-oh, not again. We hear no audio, brother. We hear no audio. Make sure your mic ain't muted. You know, got to make sure it's the simple things first. Make sure your mic ain't muted.
You hear me?
There we go. There we go.
Oh, I had my mic on mute. Sorry about that, Roger.
No
What's
problem.
up,
No, it happens to the best of us.
You made me pour a bottle, a shot of liquor this early in the morning with this subject. That
Take a double for me. Take a double for me, because this is some bull crap.
Look, you know what I'm about to do right now, Roger, to take responsibility?
Yes.
I'm about to play Call of Duty. That's how I'm about to take responsibility.
Oh, God.
The game of choice, real talk.
Yeah, yes, because I'm lonely. Shout out to that past episode I wanted to speak on. That Muppet there, she's a fell swirler. She's trying to shame her way back into the community. She should remain ostracized. And what she actually did, she helped the community herself because she exposed herself. Who to avoid. So how I'm going to help the community is I'm not going to deal with women like that. And to all of y'all, cheers.
Well said, brother. Well presented. I'll say that. Okay. All right. Well, let's get. Okay. Well, Jado, let's get you in there. You got it.
All right. What's up, Roger? Good morning to the fellas on the panel, everybody in the chat room.
Good morning,
man. Morning. There's a couple directions I want to go in, man. I'm kind of ADHD this morning, man. But when I looked at this, and I tried to watch as much as that entire episode as I could, including the clip that you left in there, Roger. But what I saw was like a verbal porn scene. And I don't want to, and forgive me, I'm not trying to be crude or anything, but like a verbal porn scene, and when you see when a woman starts doing all these things to her body, you know, they start getting these BBLs, they have all these tattoos, all these modifications and all these things to themselves. They have a deep-seated hatred of themselves, and they actually hate how God made them. And that resentment for God is projected upon their father or the black men that actually, you know, that seeded them, you know what I mean? And that's what I saw. And also with K. Michelle, a lot of times when we speak about like sex workers, like we speak as if they're like totally like kind of isolated from normal society when they're really very, very, very much integrated within society, man. Everyday people. It might be it could be the cashier that checks you out at the grocery store. It could be multiple people, but we kind of act like they're like separate or they're marked or they're distinctively like identify when they're not. And I kind of just suspect that this woman is just a sex worker that has a few other talents that we know about. I mean, I don't know. I never listened to her, K Michelle, so I don't know what she sings, bruh. I don't know. I know she was part of a reality show. But anyway, so I'm just saying like a sex worker, prostitute, whatever, a hoe, hooker, whatever words you want to use. I think that's just what she is. And I'm not trying to be funny when I'm saying it or crude or any, like these people are part of society and they have desires just like other normal people that aren't participating in sex work or being prostitutes. Sometimes they want to be sit down and have a family. Is that their ultimate goal or their primary goal? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was just her way of manipulating to where like she wants to keep her, I guess her customer base open to all men, including black men. And maybe there may be some black men that like, okay, wow, I like that speech that she just gave. You know what I'm saying? So this is just she's kind of gamed up as far as being like a sex worker, man. And just because people, like I said, when I say these things, just because they're not walking up down the blade, strolling with high, 6-inch heels and a mini skirt, you know what I'm saying? That's obvious. We can label them a sex worker, but we have sex workers that are pretending to be. They pretend. Well, sometimes they're not pretending. Sometimes they're just emoting and they're just going through this up and down roller coaster of these emotions and stuff, man. She said specifically that the happiest she was ever in her life was when she was a stripper, man. So we're just looking at a sex worker that may have had some other talents that's just speaking, and she's appealing to maybe to sensible black men that actually do like want families and stuff like that. So I think she's just appealing to a wider customer base, man. And I think we should just look at it like that. She's a sex worker, bro. I'll end right there. Thanks for having me, Ross.
A failed sex worker.
Yeah, failed sex.
Do that right.
No, I'm not. I don't want to put that on her that she's a failed sex worker. She said she was a stripper, so she probably made some money as a stripper. We don't know how a stripper career goes in. It's always very few strippers that make a bunch of money, but most strippers, don't make the money that a lot of us perceive they make. They make decent money as far as the average individual, because a stripper can go make $300 in a night. A stripper can do that reasonably, but then you got some that don't quite get to that level.
Look at her body and look what she done put it through. Was that a success story? No, failed.
No, I'm saying, but I don't want to call her a failed stripper. She's failed at other things. But in her situation, she's a stripper that had something that most strippers don't have, actual talent. K. Michelle can actually sing, and she's a good songwriter. I've heard some of her stuff because I'm.
That's not a talent. That's not a talent.
No, it is a talent to be a singer, and it is a talent to be a songwriter. Everybody can't just easily do that. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, let's not project stuff onto her that ain't there just because she says some ridiculous stuff. She is a talented individual, and if she had any sense, she'd never been stripping in the first place. She should have never been a stripper because she actually has an easily identifiable talent. You know what I'm saying? Because some people have talent, but it's not that hard to identify. When you can sing, you pretty much know that as a child. So I don't know how she ended up being a stripper. She makes a lot of bad decisions, obviously, because she stripped in the first place, and she can sing as well as she does.
Roger. we got to give Cam Newton a lot of credit, not blowing up laughing in her face with that good joke she said. I mean, what she said on this podcast was very hilarious. And if I was Cam Newton, I would have died laughing right in front of her. I mean, she's good at comedy. Let's be for real.
Well, Cam's not going to do that because Cam is a very pro-woman type guy. You know what I'm saying? And he's a very rebellious guy himself. So he does everything he can to make sure women's image looks good. So he wasn't going to do that no way. I like Cam, but I do see that about Cam. That's one of his things. He's not going to try to make a woman look bad.
That's why. My bad,
hold on, y'all.
Yeah,
I got to get the Emperor in. Emperor Dessalines hadn't had a chance to say anything yet, so let me let him get the flow. Emperor, you got it.
Morning, folks. How you
Morning.
Morning to the panel in the chat.
Y'all can say good morning. That's what he waiting on.
Yeah.
Salute, Emperor. Salute, Emperor. How you doing, man?
Good morning, good brother.
A bunch of rude Negroes.
You know how we do.
Emperor, I'm an American. We don't salute emperors, you know.
No, when the emperor salutes you, you salute back. Well, what was this mess all about? Why are I out here over intellectualizing a bad wrench Bible like that? A failed bad wrench Bible. She's a bad wrench. What are you talking about? What is she talking about? I have not watched the clip at all because once I listened to 5 seconds of the clip. I said, okay, here we go again. Another one of them failed swirlers, bad wenches doing bad wench stuff. Okay, that's the reach back. And when it comes to reach back, especially from these people, I always say, hashtag no reach back. Hashtag no reach back. Okay. And always say no to hyenas. Do not let them hyenas get back in the community or the village. And I rest my plane here.
Well, the thing is, she's never been in. She's been in the overall black community because she's black, but she's never been in the real black community that means anything. She's never been in. She had a baby when she was in college, y'all. She went to college, which I can't say is a bad thing, but then she got a baby when she was in college. This is a person who's had good opportunities that just simply squandered them because she wanted to. Okay? She did marry the guy that got her pregnant. She could have. She just didn't do it. And I can understand it. She actually even admitted it. You know what I'm saying? Her whole thing was she's trying to be famous. She's trying to be a star. So I totally understand why she didn't marry the guy that she got pregnant by, as if you couldn't be married to that guy and still be a single songwriter. I don't know what they actually got to do with each other, but she said it herself. And the thing is why this stuff is important to watch and put out this type of content, because there's always going to be people who ain't going to really get it. Now, shout out to my main man, Black Man Being Brutal. Shout out to Kev out there. If y'all ain't subscribed to his channel, make sure you do so. It don't make sense to be subscribed to me and not be subscribed to him. Real talk. Now, he said something very important too. She's a failed bed wench too, which I cannot take away from her. She lives her life the way she wants to, and she been trying to get white men to do something with her at the end of the day. And my thing is, I do think black men care about that part too much, because at the end of the day, she is who she is. We are not in a competition with white men, and I think black men need to remember that. At the end of the day, she's a failure because that's just who she is as a person when it comes to a relationship standpoint. God done gave her everything she needed to win. She just refused to win. She had a nice body before she started messing with it. She had a decent face before she started messing with it. She can sing. Most guys like a woman that can sing. She had everything she needed to win. She just refused to win. And I think that's more what the issue is. She refused to win even though she was given all the gifts she needed to win. She obviously was a smart person. She went to college, you know. So from an academic standpoint, she had some level of intelligence. So why did she become a loser other than the fact she just wanted to lose?
Roger, just a little step deeper. Why do you think she just wants to lose? Why do you think that?
Because she can't see herself as a winner unless a white man is with her.
Hey, Roger, can I interrupt right quick?
Go
I
ahead.
apologize. First of all, we got 71 watching and we only have 36 likes. Can we please hit the like button? This is the man's new channel. We're trying to get his subscriber count back up. And also, with you watching, that means you have a YouTube channel. And if you have the ability, please put this in your post so that the others that are subscribed to you can see it. We need to get this man's subscriber count back up. And I just put you in my post and I rest my mic.
Hey, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, y'all. And yeah, even if you're a person who has 0 subscribers, if you over here watching and not hitting the like button, man, how cheap can you be? I give y'all the best show on social media and you ain't gonna hit the like button. That's crazy work right there. Real talk. But let me let Tunnel Runner get in because I just brought up Tunnel Runner. So let me let him get his opening statement in. You got it, Tunnel Runner. How you doing, brother?
Doing well, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, she's just a bad example of what she could have been. And she had offers. She said she had 3. She turned down 3 guys. So what does she want? How can you have families if you're not going to be doing the job as a wife? She had her opportunities and she didn't take them.
You know what? I'm gonna say powerful statement because that's what I got from. You know, you begging black men to quote unquote create this community that already exists, but you turned down 3 wedding proposals, according to you. Now I'm not gonna say she lying, but what I am gonna say is I know them guys had to be black because you wasn't gonna turn down no white man's wedding proposal. So 3 black guys gave you a chance, and you turned them all down. And you're not married, and you're asking Cam Newton why won't he get married?
But white boys love her. White boys love her.
Well, if they love her, why is she with them?
Real quick, before we even get into the white boy thing, y'all just look at the dynamic of a black woman who's claiming 3 guys offered her rings. She's already she's been a baby mama since she was in college. So you know what I'm saying? She said it was like a freshman award. So that's 18, 19 years old. You won an award, but you got pregnant. You had to step down as it's like the beauty contest thing. You had to step down, I guess, because maybe she wasn't a representative of the award. So this is like 18, 19 years old, y'all. She's not that old when this happens. Now, I don't know who the 3 rings were from. Let's say one of them was from the guy who got her pregnant in the first place. Some unfamous guy who just happened to get her pregnant while she was still a freshman in college. Okay, you turned down his, which would tell me you ain't trying to make no family. Now, maybe he ain't even the guy. So who have you been dating seriously? Now, she said she didn't even want to be with Antonio Tarver while he was having a great boxing career because she wanted to be a star. And he was like, well, you know, I ain't in the music field. She was like, well, you can get me to somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, whatever the case is. So you had access to Antonio Tarver, but did you pursue that one? No, because you want to be a star. You're okay. So you didn't take that relationship seriously. Now, I don't know who the other people was, but I do not believe for a hot second that K. Michelle was dating some guy who worked at the local grocery store. So obviously you've been dealing with well-to-do black men. And now we know you've been trying to be with white men. So, but you asking Cam Newton, because he's a successful black man, why won't y'all create a family? Well, excuse me. She said, why won't y'all create homes? Why don't you, people like you, create homes? You don't want to be in nobody's home. Why are you asking him about why he won't create homes? You wouldn't go into the home that was created for you. Some guy got you pregnant. You didn't get with him. Antonio Tarver, you know, not the greatest boxer of all time or anything, but come on, the guy's successful. We know his name. What's wrong with Antonio Tarver that you said, I can't be with you for real because I want to be a star? You don't want to go into nobody's home.
Wasn't he in a Rocky movie?
Yeah. Yeah, he was in the Rocky movie.
Mason Dixon, right?
Yeah, Mason Dixon. Yeah, that's who he played as in the movie Rocky and everything else. And also, don't forget, Antonio Tarver knocked out the great Roy Jones.
The man had a decent boxing career.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I'm not saying he's greatest of all time, and nor should he have to be. But my thing is, if you look at who's asking Cam the question, the very woman that refuses to be part of a good home herself is asking a man why he won't create a good home, as if the woman doesn't have to agree with being part of a good home. And I'm gonna say, because I did disagree with H Rebels, she did put all the blame on me. She had like women don't have a choice in the situation. Black women are not trying to be part of a black family. And this is something men need to realize. And if you look at how Cam was saying stuff, he didn't want to come out and say that, but Cam, he said enough for me to figure out the reason he ain't married because the woman he pursued is rebellious to him. He liked that first chick that he got pregnant. I think it was the first chick he was talking about. He liked her. He good with her. And he treated her at a decent level based on the stuff that he was saying. But she also was rebellious to him. So what he's supposed to do? Now the thing is, Cam admitted, I'm a rebellious guy, and that's how our relationship was. We were two rebellious people. But he probably just didn't account for the fact that she was going to rebel against him. So how you gonna have a home and you're dealing with a rebellious woman? So that's where Cam made a mistake. And at the end of the day, he's supposed to marry somebody else because the woman he really wanted is rebellious to him. That don't make a lick of sense. But you know what makes even less sense? The woman who's a baby mama asking him why he won't create a home when she's part of the black women who won't actually submit to a black man so they can have a home. That's why this stuff is important to talk about, y'all.
In order to have a family, you need a man and a woman. And the black women do not see black men as men. So ergo, you don't deserve a home. You don't deserve a family.
Well, I'm not going to say that. To me, in order to have a family, you got to have a man. That's it. That's the beginning of a family. Everything else is down attached to that man. So if you're not creating a situation where people are not attached to that man, then that's not a family because the man is the head of a family. Because what if you have a situation where a man gets with a woman and then the woman dies? That's still a family because he's a man. Okay? It's important for children to be raised by their fathers. And I know everybody wants to say, well, you know, it's always good if they got both parents. If you pay attention, if a father is there, things are pretty much good. So the father is necessary. The woman helps, but a father is necessary. That's just what it is. You need that male influence to have an actual family. The issue with black women is they want to have kids the way they want to have kids, not submit to any man, and then complain about the men not having a quote unquote family home. Because that's all she really was doing. You ain't want to submit to the guy who you got pregnant by, but you asking another guy about why he won't quote unquote create a home. You're literally doing the same thing the woman was doing that Cam was dealing with. And Cam did a great job trying to protect her, but he said too much where I can figure it out. That no, the issue is the woman was being rebellious to Cam. That's why he ain't married to her. This literally makes no sense at the end of the day. You got women rejecting black men's leadership, but then asking black men why they haven't created homes. And then you comparing it to white men who got women submitting to the man. You know, and I think that's the part that black men really need to connect that we don't really pay enough attention to. The white women submit. Now, black women can say everything they want, but these white women submit. When you start looking at the ones who actually have a home, because I ain't saying this ain't some wild white women out there too, but the ones who got a home, what y'all think them women doing? You know, K. Michelle had this whole thing about them white men in Nashville. They leave at 5 o'clock and go home. What you think those white women are doing the day they went home to? You think they living like you? You think them white women was on a stripper pole? Is that what you really believe? You know, and I would like to get some more information on how she ended up on the pole anyway. How does a woman who can sing and a good songwriter, because she can do both well, how did she end up on the pole in the first place? That don't even make sense to me.
Hey Roger, like I don't think it's really no big story behind it. I'm not saying you're suggesting it is, but she ended up on a pole because she wanted to be on a pole, bro. She's a sex. That's why I said sex worker, and I know it seems like I'm exaggerating or going way too far. Like, oh my god, wait, hold on. She chose to do so. She said her father's a professor, right? Didn't she say that?
Yeah, she said my father more famous in my town than I am.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. She chose to be it. Like, it's not like ain't nobody, she wasn't like kidnapped or what. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but I'm just saying, like, she chose to be that. That's what I'm saying. This is a glorified worker, man, a hoe, man. I think we kind of glossed it. I think we're kind of going over there. And it was like a big sexual energy between her and Cam. She's trying to finesse Cam for some bread or some clout or something like that. That's what she was doing. It was a porn scene as far as I'm concerned, just a verbal porn scene. And Cam played his role and she played her role. And she's trying to manipulate men. If you say, "Oh, the white boys, they know how to do it. The white men know how to do it. They go home after they produce the song. They go home to their wives. They're creating families."
And then the white man.
Of course, I mean, yeah, of course, she can't do that. But yeah, she's gonna play on our ego, somebody's ego, and she starts to crying. Sometimes, man, when you see a woman cry, man, they know how to turn those fake tears on. And it can hit something it's something, a visceral reaction with a lot of men that we want to protect women, man. When they start to crying, they start talking about family. We just need to recognize that.
What woman, sir?
I mean, I didn't say, I clearly said that, bro. But yeah.
Well, let me say shout out to Ryan Decipher, who says K. Michelle is a prime example of the brutality of natural selection. A disorderly woman will likely not have access to productive men and their commitment. She is where she should be, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to say I don't believe in the natural selection part when it comes to humans, because humans were given something that animals weren't given, the ability to think for themselves. But she is a woman who chose to be stupid on multiple levels and obviously multiple critical occasions. I can't say we all don't make stupid choices, but when you start making stupid choice after stupid choice after stupid choice in big areas in your life, you know, you need help at the end of the day. K. Michelle is just another woman who needs some help. And yeah, it is about ego, because black women look at white men as if they're gods. That's what I always trying to tell us what some white man is doing, as if we're supposed to compare ourselves to them. And that's why, you know, they don't have the good sense to recognize that black men got good sense. We don't care what white men are doing like that, because we don't see them as God. You know, we understand, if anything, they should see us as God. So saying what the white man do don't matter. But anytime a black woman is talking to you about what the white man did, that's her indication to you that she believes that white men are above you in general. So she's the last woman you should be listening to. You know, but that's where K. Michelle happens to be personally. Now, the thing is, you know, and some of this stuff can sound redundant, but y'all, the thing is, this stuff has to be said, because when someone like a K. Michelle goes out in public and makes statements like this, she is fueling white supremacy in itself amongst black women and amongst everybody else. So somebody needs to come out and say something about it at the end of the day. And you're going to have a counter narrative at the end of the day, especially one with some actual truth in it. K. Michelle is literally a person who refused to be in a good situation with the man she had a child by. And she asked another man why he didn't create a family. K. Michelle didn't want to participate in the family. She literally didn't want to. And the thing is, because of the laws that we have in America, you can't force no woman into a home. So no black man should be trying to force some woman into a family situation. It don't make sense at the end of the day. You know? Now, I don't know what kind of man the guy was who, because she said his name, but I didn't remember his name didn't sound familiar, whatever like that. I don't know if he's a famous man or anything like that at all. He might have just been some regular dude at the end of the day, because this was before she got famous. You know, this is her freshman year of college. What's so wrong with dude that she just didn't get married to him? And this is the perspective I think a lot of black men need to start taking. What's so wrong with the dude that you got pregnant by? Because if he was good enough for you to have sex with enough time that you came up pregnant, what was so bad about him? Why couldn't you marry him? Now, and this is the thing, y'all. If they say anything's wrong with the guy, then the next question is, why would you have sex and a baby with a guy like that? Because we are in a world where you can have sex with a guy and don't have to have his baby. Women got all kinds of ways to not have a baby by a guy. Some of them men approve of, some of them men do not. Some men approve of women going to the chop shop. Some guys don't like that. But women got all kinds of other ways that don't even need to come up. So why are you having babies by random dudes and then asking another man why he wouldn't get married to some random chick? If we don't see y'all, do y'all understand how diabolical that is alone? Why won't you get married to a woman that you don't see worthy of marriage? And I'm asking you this as a woman who had a baby by a man that I wouldn't submit to. Y'all understand how crazy this is? You know, this is like a this is like a racist 12-year-old asking his daddy at the KKK meeting, why won't he marry a black woman?
This is what hyenas do.
Yeah, that's a good analogy right there. That's a really good analogy, what you just said there, Roger. Really is.
I mean, it's nuts all in itself. Real talk. And my thing is though, because I'm gonna take it off K. Michelle, because there's a lot of black women who do exactly what she did. Now, she happened to be talking to Cam Newton, but it's regular everyday black women that say the same thing to black men every day. Why won't y'all make a family? You won't have a home. Where do you see a bunch of men stopping women from being in the home? Now let's get real about this. You talk about black men in homes. Where do you see a bunch of black men keeping women out of a home? Do you ever see black men keeping women out of a home? Women done got pregnant, got kids, but you got a guy who's telling her she got to go. When have y'all seen that? You know, real talk, I don't think anybody on this panel has ever seen a black man who has a child by a woman kick her out in any circumstance. I don't think none of y'all seen it, because I know I ain't seen it. Not one time. I have not heard about it. Heck, I haven't even seen it on the news. When have y'all even seen it in social media where there was ever one black man who had kids by a woman, yet he was putting the woman out? I ain't seen it. Now, have I seen a baby mama get put out and she had kids by another man? Yeah, but usually that's because the man came home and caught her cheating. I didn't seen that. But I ain't never seen the man put out a woman and his own child. Not no black ones anyway.
I have something that's more bizarre than that, Roger.
What's that, my brother?
We got 86 people watching and we only got 54 likes. Can you please like, share, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the Roger Report. And also, please hit the Cash App. It's $, the Roger Report. Please support your interests. I know You're caught up in this great entertainment and great information that Roger is providing you, and you forgot to take your fat thumb and hit the like button. Please do so at this moment. I appreciate it.
I second that.
Thank you, brothers. Appreciate that, y'all. Because real talk, you ain't going to get better stuff on social media. I'm definitely going to deal with the hard-hitting stuff, and I'm going to dig stuff out and present stuff in a way that black men need to be using in a regular, everyday basis. And I'm not saying K. Michelle don't have a right to her opinion. She can have any opinion she wants. She's an American. But if you, a baby mama, asking me why I ain't trying to create families with you as a black man, you know what I'm saying? That's just a ridiculous question to me, truth be told. And I'm gonna talk about you for saying that to me. That's what I would do. Now I understand Cam has this thing where he keeps trying to protect women, because she kept digging, because she said the women told her, go get them, basically. So she kept digging, but the truth is, as she kept digging, he has to say something about the woman he had. He done got pregnant. Cam was trying to do his best not to say it, but basically what he's saying is every woman he got pregnant wasn't good enough to marry. And he wasn't trying to say this. This was her steady digging. Steady. He kept trying to leave that alone. She kept on digging. But you got this, and that, and and we rooting for these women. Cam could not say none of these women were good enough for me to marry. Because Cam said that when they asked him she asked him what was his goal. He said his goal every single time was to be with one woman and have a family with that one woman. Now the thing is, if that's the man's goal, and he got money and fame, but he did marry the woman, what is the obvious thing that's going on? Those black women were not submitting to him as the leader. Point blank, period. Now you may come up with this idea that no, they submit to him. That's why he's doing the stuff he's doing. No, Cam is doing stuff for them because they have children. He got children by them. That's what it is at the end of the day. And Cam think he's supposed to take care of them and the children. And he said that. Now keep in mind, his father's a pastor, but Cam done admit it. He's rebellious. And y'all may think his father's like some type of sucker or something, or may have just taught him wrong. No, he said when he in church, because his father is a pastor, he say his father the type of dude who's so bold, he don't just say, hey, if y'all do this or do that or whatever. He say he'll call Cam out by name in the church. Cam, come on to the front. Let's talk about you. And he said he done had frank conversation with the dude. He said, bro, I'm out here preaching the word. I'm telling people what it's supposed to be. And my own son is out here rebelling against everything I'm teaching. We got to do something about that. So y'all may think his father is soft or something like that. No. See, which is why I go through the trouble of trying to watch a lot of background stuff that's going on. Now, without me watching that background stuff, I don't know what kind of father Cam really got. But I found out his father ain't approving of none of this stuff. His father wants him to do stuff the right way. Cam admitted that he's rebellious. And unfortunately, a rebellious man is going to do what? He'll probably find a rebellious woman attractive. But when you deal with rebellious women, you got to understand they can rebel against you. She rebellious. So why would she listen to you and be the woman that you want her to be for a marriage? Of course she's not going to be that. Now, the thing is, if you don't pay attention, you don't get to put all that together. So now what do I know about Cam's baby mamas? All of them rebellious. Because that's what he's attracted to. So is it Cam's fault that they're in the situation they're in? No, Cam just a participant. Women have the babies they want. None of them had to have a baby by Cam Newton. But let's keep it real. It's Cam Newton who's not going to have a baby by him.
Then maybe she's auditioning to get a baby from Cam.
I'm saying, bro, fellas, I'm just saying, like, you gotta, when you have a hoe, man, she's there to she's manipulating. She's feeding to his desire. She knows he desires a family. He wants to be with one woman. So she's appealing to that. And all the gentlemen out in the world who watch that podcast or that show, those men as well. She's being manipulated, and she's just putting it out there. The whole family, the black family. I wish you black men would create the black family. And she has this Southern bill, has her accent and stuff, but she has, has her breast out, practically tattoos, and her whole body's been chopped up and manipulated and enhanced or whatever. I'm just saying, man, this is just she's an enhanced I don't want to keep saying that, Roz. I don't think you. I don't want to. Yeah.
Let me say this real quick, and then you got it, champ. She's doing something I've taught about in the past. Women who see men who've already had a baby, those men get a target on their back. Now, some of us, we're looking at the fact that this is Cam Newton. I'm looking at the fact that he's just a dude. He's had babies, so therefore he's automatically going to be a target for black women. Black women are trying to get to men that are willing to give them a child, because nowadays most black men don't see black women as worthy of getting pregnant. Most of us will not get them pregnant, and we don't think about it in those terms, but it's the absolute truth. One of the reasons that the baby mama statistic is actually lowering for black men, for black women, that they're not baby mamas as much, is because there's so many men rejecting the ideal of having a baby by a black woman. Now, that's not a good thing, but it is a real thing. Now, K. Michelle is there. K. Michelle old for a woman. She done had a baby before. She done turned down all these marriages and things like that. So now, did K. Michelle know where she was going when she put on that dress? Oh, she absolutely did. Am I going to say that or suggest that K. Michelle wasn't trying to get some of that dick herself? No, because she said it herself. Some of us, when we get dick drunk, she was steady throwing stuff out there. It's just up to if Cam want to pick it up. But I don't think Cam would pick it up and do anything with it on camera. I'm not saying he wouldn't do it off camera. You know what I'm saying? But on camera, I don't think he going to go for it at the end of the day. But that don't mean she didn't get around, the two. That could have happened. Not my business at the end of the day. Don't really care. But the thing is, she was still being herself. Cam is a big dude. He got a big name, and he got a big amount of kids. Heck, I should get pregnant by this man because I'm old. If I could still get pregnant, that's a good guy that will give me X, Y, and Z because I'm the mother of his child. Because that's what Cam. I ain't gonna say his name is Cameron because it could be something else. But that's what he does. He takes care of the women and the children to a certain degree. The women don't have to worry about stuff when they got a baby by him. So of course women gonna take the deal. She an old lady at this point. Where's she gonna be? Her kid probably grown now. You see what I'm saying? Her kid probably out the house now. She probably lonely and everything. Because even though, she has some success as a singer, she still got to go home to probably an empty house at the end of the day. Unless she got like family members living with her. She probably going home to an empty house. Let's be for real. She crazy as I don't know what. She could have a man. I ain't saying she can't get no man. She has shown the ability to get a man. It's just the guys don't stay. That's all. She's shown the ability to get a man, but the guys just don't stay.
I think she stated she does have a boyfriend or something like that. Whatever. I would say something else. I'm not going to label, this person's something else or whatever. But that doesn't matter though. Like she would still even if she can just get the thrill off of the back and forth banter with a superstar former NFL player. All of this stuff comes into play. Maybe she would like to have a child by him, maybe not. Maybe she would like to just roll in a sack with him, maybe not. Even just the back and forth banter, that was very sexual. Like their conversation, man. And like I said, that's why I kind of labeled it like soft verbal porn. That's kind of how I look at it.
Well, my thing, but here's the thing, what makes her so hypocritical. Years ago, she was on some radio show and she was and it was discovered that her son was dating a white girl. And here she was, shaming her son for doing that publicly and all that. She's talking about, I wouldn't, if I was trying, I'm not really, not that high on my son, dating a white woman, but what it is. She was doing that pro black fist type of stuff, and now here she is on Cam Newton going up there bashing black men and everything else for not taking responsibility and all that type of stuff. But at the same time, she says that she's got a white boy. I doubt she has a boyfriend and everything else. If she really did, then why is she side by side with him? Because like I said, this is a lady who's a failed whirler and everything else. And what she's trying to do, it sounds like she was trying to get with Cam Newton, by the way, too. Have you all noticed that during that interview? It sounded like she was trying to get with him and everything else. And Cam was like, well, I've been with women like you and all that type of stuff. I'm sorry, I can't be with that and everything else. It was almost like she was trying to beg and shame Cam Newton to be with her and everything else, while at the same time, trying to say that, I love white guys, and everything else. All that type of stuff. That's what these swirlers like to do. They like to shame black men publicly and everything else, but at the same time, they can't stay with a white man because they get rejected.
Well, this is my thing though. What they can or can't do with white men, we shouldn't care so much about. Because at the end of the day, we're not in competition with white men. Who cares? And the thing is, she won't submit to the black men in front of her. That is the major issue. The only reason white men should have a context is the fact that they are trying to be with white men. So therefore, stop trying to act like you got anything solid with us. And why are you trying to speak about black community if you're not married to a black man? And see, black men got to start, pulling the ranks on people. But that means you got to go and be the leader, and you can't be tripping about it. Why I'm saying Kate Michelle don't have a leg to stand on because she ain't married to no black man. Point blank, period. If she has a black husband who can come represent her point of view about what men should do, then hey, we can rock with it. Because that means she had to go through a man to give her opinion. So now a man could say, okay, she did say something that actually has some sense that needs to be addressed. She is a baby mama trying to tell black men what they should do. My thing is, this is an insult at the end of the day. Now, Cam, because he wants to protect black women's image, he ain't gonna come out and just say that because he's doing a podcast, he's doing certain stuff for show purposes and things like that. And he's a rebellious man. Think about it, y'all. Wouldn't a rebellious man listen to a woman when he shouldn't? He's a rebellious man. If you're gonna be a rebellious man, who you gonna probably listen to? Think about that. Now, he said his father is the most influential person in his life. And I'm not going to say he don't feel that way. But you said yourself, you're a rebellious man. So you ain't listening to your dad. When you rebel against what your father teaching you. So he letting a woman who has no actual position to say anything to black men say that stuff. And he's not going to check her because he's a rebellious man himself. Now, my thing is that's his own personal issue that he got to get past. But yes, the first thing I'm gonna say to a black woman who got any criticism for black men is, if you want to say something to black men, no, you get your husband to say it. Because if you can't get your husband to say it, it ain't worth being said. Point blank, period. And some people will say, well, now that's like you being against women. No, I'm not being against women. Women do not take on the responsibilities as men, so therefore they shouldn't be treated as if they're taking that on. Point blank, period. Do y'all remember when y'all was kids, it was certain stuff you didn't get to talk about because you weren't going to do nothing anyway? Now, maybe I'm the only person who had that experience, but I remember when I was a kid, kids didn't get to participate in certain conversations because you weren't going to do nothing anyway. You a child. Why would we take you seriously? And that has always held up in my family. We don't play with people like that. You don't get to make no rules about nothing and you ain't got no skin in the game. I don't think black women should be talking where they ain't got no skin in the game. Because I don't see this world where black men are putting out baby mamas. I ain't seen it. You know, black men do a whole lot of stuff, but when it comes to some chick who got their kid, they'll break all kind of rules for it. You know, I didn't see black men marry women they didn't like at all. And you say, well, why'd you do it? Man, she got a kid by me. And what do black men do when that said? Okay, we let it go. We understand. We don't necessarily like it. May not even agree with it. But at the end of the day, we let it go. Why? Because we understand she got a kid. Okay, so it is what it is. Y'all. Now, I got Music Man backstage, believe it or not, y'all. This will be Music Man first time coming up. I do believe it's the actual Music Man, but I'm finna let him up and just cover the screen just for a hot minute. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't never came up on the panel before, but I do believe this is the right one. But of course, I ain't gonna let the trolls get at me either, y'all. Trolls are always gonna watch, so it is what it is. But Music Man, what's going on, my brother? How you doing?
How's everyone?
Fantastic, fantastic. Welcome to the show.
Great. The greatest show on the land.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that.
Yeah, but listen, man, this Michelle thing is deeper than y'all think it is. Think about it. She's getting old, so she's getting ready to hit the wall. She's trying to get black men to marry these black women for the bag. Because how long does a black marriage last? So if you can get a rich, high, I forget the word, but if you get a rich black man to marry you to make a family, because black men, when we make families, we invest it. They're not. So if you get them to invest in a family, you think about it, 5-10 years later, what happens?
Yeah, she won't out.
Right. And she's gonna take a bag, and she want to take a bag with her. She can't take no bag now because she don't have nobody.
I agree. I agree that she's putting it out. She wants to make it appear that she wants, black women to get the bag from black men and, get married or whatever. But she doesn't care. She wants the support from these women. So she'll make it appear like she's looking out for the black family in general. She doesn't give a darn about these people, man. She cares about herself. But she does want to put out that appearance like, oh, I'm so concerned about black families, So hopefully maybe but she doesn't actually care. She wants the support of these, women out here that are in hopes of getting the bag. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think she actually cares about that.
Well, and she's a divester. So
well, no, she's not a divester. A divester is a black woman who married a white man.
Okay.
She ain't never been married.
That's true. But she got on here and talk about how much she loved white men, and I'm like, oh, okay, well then that's who you should be with.
Well, yeah, she's a failed swirler. And in other words, she's a bed wench. She's had white guys in the past.
Well, no, hold on. Y'all see, my thing is y'all just throw stuff out there. Everything means something. A swirler is just a black woman who's dating white men. So I don't know if I don't even know that she's actually a swirler for real. Because I know she's talked about white men and wanted to pursue white men. I don't know if she's ever actually dated a white man. I'm sure she has because she's rich. You know what I'm saying? And I'm probably just unaware of it. But I can't even say for sure she's even dated a white man. I know she liked him and she done talked about him, you know what I'm saying, on various occasions. But I can't say a white man ever claimed her. Do y'all know about the white man that claimed her?
The guy, like I said, he was a former. No, he didn't. He didn't claim her. She claimed him.
And do y'all know about the white man that claimed her?
No.
See, the thing, I'm not saying this to embarrass anybody on the panel or anything like that. What I'm saying is, y'all, I like to keep stuff real at the end of the day. I know she likes them. I am not not surprised by that at all. I heard it many a time reference white men and how great they are. I know she like them. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's part of the problem she has with black men, because she ain't married to a white man. And that's an issue for her. And I think she's doing what a lot of black women do. That's what I'm saying, y'all. Don't put your eyes just on K. Michelle. She's just a representative of a lot of black women. There's a lot of black women who cannot get a white man, who are angry at black men because they couldn't get a white man, as if it has something to do with us. Now, the thing is, she's going to try to make black men at fault, and what she's using on this particular occasion to put black men at fault is to say, well, y'all not making homes. Why she literally is refusing to be a part of a home. She has a baby. She's not with that child's father. So she literally refused to be a part of a home to a black man. So what is she complaining about that makes sense? And people just attack Cam because Cam got 8 kids. That's all it is at the end of the day. So he's just an easy target. And obviously he's not been through these type of things and through our type of conversations where he's going to be able to easily defend himself against women when they attack him, even with nonsense. But my thing is, if we pay attention to real life, man, what white man ever claimed her? I don't remember that dude. Now, maybe it happened. I don't know about it, but I don't remember no white man claiming her. I know she loved them, but I don't know that they love her. They might like her music. They might like her as a fan of a record she put out or something, but I don't know about no white man who claimed her. Real
That's
talk.
true.
That's very true.
I think that's part of her issue with black men.
All right. Well, listen, Raj, I'm gonna have to go, but I thank you for allowing me to speak. And to all the brothers, man, y'all take care. It's a great show, intellectual show, and y'all have a great day.
You too.
Brother. Appreciate you for making an appearance. Welcome, brother. Welcome. And glad you're part of the family. Real talk.
All right. Y'all take care.
All right, you too. Yeah, and y'all do know black women have a whole lot of issues with black men because they are not seen as they want to be seen by white men. And y'all, I'm not saying this to dog K. Michelle. What I'm saying is she's a good representative for a lot of black women. How many black women want to be claimed by a white man? There's no evidence that a white man claimed them. They baby mamas. And they're mad at black men talking about y'all should have did something that we refuse to be a part of. Yeah, y'all should make homes. Okay, so black men done had babies with y'all, but you're not living with those black men, but you telling the black man he's supposed to make a home. Why ain't you over there? And this is something that black men don't do that we need to push. I done said this stuff before, y'all. Why aren't you in his home? That needs to be the question that every black man gives to every baby mama who asking this dumb stuff. You telling me black men don't create homes? Wait a minute, don't he live somewhere? Is your baby daddy homeless, or does he have an address? Because if he has an address, then why ain't you at his address? See, black men, we got to see ourselves as the leader, and you got to talk to them as a leader. What baby daddy do you got that's homeless? Because you ain't got no homeless baby daddy. I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't even see why you have a valid complaint when you could just go live in his home. And again, when have y'all ever seen a black man who had a child by a woman refuse to let that woman in his house? Now, I'm not saying it shouldn't happen, because truth be told, it should happen, but it doesn't happen. There are definitely some women out there who have some kids by a man that he should let into his home, but men ain't keeping them women out. What you see is a bunch of women doing everything they can to stay out of that home. That's what we see. You know, he won't do this, he won't do that. You don't live with him. He's supposed to be doing that for somebody who lives with him, not for you. You know, now I do believe in the Cam Newton situation based on how Cam talks. The women are getting what they want out of him. So they good with it. They getting what they want out of him. Because if I was him, I wouldn't be doing as much as he probably doing for them anyway. Because all y'all would have to live with me at the end of the day. Point blank, period. I would take custody from every woman. If I'm in his position, that's just what I would do. There is nowhere in the world that these women can provide the lifestyle I can for my children. They can't even come close to it. So I want custody of every single one of them kids. That's what I would be on. But that's me, you know, because I see myself as the leader. So the children need to be led by me. You know, women can be helped, but you can't be the man. Okay? The only women I'm going to give a pass about that to is a widow. If you're not a widow, I ain't trying to hit. You know, if I was Cam, I would use my money and my resources to take all them kids. You know, now I know he ain't that type of guy. It is what it is. And whatever problem he has because he's not that type of guy, that's on him to deal with at the end of the day. But man, if I'm not rich, I'm taking all them kids. Real talk. You know, and you can say whatever you want. You know, and the women can come live in the family home if that's what they want to do. But it will be some submission over here if you want to come be in a family home. Because guess what? All the kids submit over here. You know, that's how you get into the family home. I would have my family home. I don't care how many baby mamas you got. You know, and I think that's something a lot of black men should actually think about and take seriously. If you got kids by multiple women, if she either at your family home or she not. And if she not at your family home, why are you giving anything she complained about real consideration? You know, I wouldn't do all that extra that I see black men do. And I understand why black men do extra because we worried about the image of people and things like that. I don't do that because I'm not going to get wrapped up into that what the white man thinks stuff. If I would have let a woman be alive and actually have custody of my kid, because I can't guarantee that I happen. But if I let some woman live who had custody of my child, I ain't giving her a dime extra. Point blank, I ain't giving her a penny extra. Don't tell me nothing about anything when it comes to my kids and money. We're going to have a bill that's established. I'm going to pay what that bill is. And don't talk to me nothing about anything from a financial context because I give you child support to take care of the kids. So whatever you need done, get it done after child support. It's that simple at the end of the day. And I ain't giving you nothing extra. And I know that's going to be hard for men because, you know, I done heard about all the dirty tricks women play, especially, which I believe is one of the worst ones. They seeing kids to their fathers in beat up clothes and whatnot. Because, you know, as a man, they like, man, well, you know, I got to do something because the kids with me. And the little man got a tore up t-shirt on and my daughter got on dirty outfits and all that type of stuff. They do some cold, cruel stuff to children just to get more out of you as a man. You know, and when you think about it, that's some cold, cruel stuff to send your kids to their daddy house in busted clothes. Because you don't know what daddy finna do with them kids. You know? Now, me, I would just tell folks the truth. Because people see me with my kids, because I'd be done took them somewhere immediately after picking them up, and people will say something to me, why your kids look like that? Well, this is what their mama sent to me. I wouldn't blink twice about it. Their mama don't care about them. Y'all know how it go. You know what I'm saying? It's cool, because when they get back to the house, they got their own stuff at the house. But this is what their mama sent to me, because their mama ain't a good mother. You know, that's why I messed up. I had kids by their mama. Because you look at this, you think she a good mother and she got her kids dressed like this? See, black men, we don't know how to take advantage of situations, even from a narrative standpoint, when you could simply just tell the truth and stop trying to protect them so much, which is what Cam is doing wrong. He's trying to protect these women. When the truth is just easier, man, just tell folks, look, man, the reason I ain't married because these women rebellious. I didn't want to marry a woman that was rebelling against me. Point blank, period. And call it a day. But he don't want to call nobody out for that. And this whole thing is anything he say, and yo, how people gonna hear it in the media and all that, and then people can use it for whatever they want to do with it, and that's a very true thing at the end of the day. But I don't see what's the point in protecting women who ain't doing you no good. I don't see the point in that. If I were to get a woman pregnant and and my children have a bad mother, I don't see why I need to protect their mama's image. Y'all, I messed up. I shouldn't have had a kid with her. I should have found somebody better. That's all. I take responsibility for that. That your mama ain't crap because I accidentally got her pregnant. She wasn't the one I meant to get pregnant. That was an accident. Real talk. She was just some random hoe to hit. That's why I ain't got no relationship with your mama. But I got to deal with the fact that you the child of a hoe. It is what it is. I'm not protecting my kids from the truth. I think the quicker they can know it and understand it, the better off they're going to be, because they're going to be able to deal with it. Because I can't change what their situation is. And I don't think Cam should be trying to protect them because it doesn't benefit him. Why protect everybody from what the truth is when the truth ain't benefiting you? Now, he's sitting there talking about how people throwing stones at him because he ain't really saying this and saying that. Well, why are you taking all these stones, player? I don't see the point in that. The women don't want to respect you in the way that you want to be respected. Therefore, you haven't married them. Just tell folks they're rebellious and move on. I would marry any one of. It's an easy statement to make. I would marry any one of them if they wasn't so rebellious. I don't even think that makes you look bad. I ain't got no issue with them. You see, I had kids by them, right? They just too rebellious for me. If they wasn't so rebellious, I'd marry them. Does that sound terrible to y'all?
No, not at all.
I think a lot of people out there in the public world would just accept that. Now, shout out to Sirius, right? He said, damn, Roger, Cam would need at least 5 nannies. I mean, he only got 8 kids, y'all. That ain't that many kids to deal with. I know it sounds like a big number, but trust me, I come from big families. 8 kids can easily be handled by 2 people. And that's real talk, y'all. 2 people can handle 8 kids. So it ain't that big a number. It may sound like a lot. And then Cam rich. So it's that much easier at the end of the day. 8 kids is not that hard. Okay? You just got to be stern when you're supposed to be stern. And you be gentle when you're supposed to be gentle. But 8 kids ain't that hard. Especially when you already got a bunch of money. Because you don't even have the concerns of regular everyday folks about feeding them and clothing them and all that type of stuff. So you got money and 8 kids. That is not that tough to deal with, y'all. Real talk. That is not that tough to deal with. And I know for sure. Okay. Now, Ryan Disciple says 8 kids out of wedlock is a big number, Roger. 8 kids produced from a marriage is not. What Ryan Disciple, I guess that's making a point. I'm not going to even argue that, but that's why every man should have a family home, and your kids should live in your family home. If the women don't want to be a part of the home, they ain't got to be. Just get out. But see, my thing is, I got a family home. If the women don't want to be in the family home, that's on them at the end of the day. They ain't got nothing to do with me. A home is provided for my family. They don't want to be here. That's on them. But I am a person who would insist on having custody of the children, which I think is kind of a newer idea for the Black community because we've been so trained out of that. So I'm not tripping by anybody who don't see it that way, but I do think that's a new idea we need to pass around. If the women want to be in a situation where they're not married to us, fine, let them go do their thing, but we need to have custody of the children. I'm not just saying the boys, because there's no point in having a bunch of good boys and a bunch of bad girls. Because bad girls grow up to be horrible women. What's the point in having a bunch of good boys who grew up to be good men, and then we got a bunch of horrible women to pick from? That's not helpful. Men should have custody of children in general. Children do better when men are involved. It's just a fact. Okay? It is a statistical fact that being raised by a man is the key factor in raising children. I know a lot of y'all say, well, it's a 2-parent home. The key part is the man being there. Because if you look at a 2-parent home, and then you look at a home where you have a single mother versus one with a single father, it's clear as day. The key factor is the man was there. 2 parents is nice, but the key factor is the man was there. Because the man is there in a 2-parent home. It is what it is. Okay? So I think as far as the black men are concerned, we need to start changing our dynamic and stop leaving these kids with the mamas. Real talk. We just need to do it differently. And we need to make that a widespread thing. Kids simply do better with their fathers. So yeah, if the women gonna go out and keep doing whole stuff, which is I think is the primary reason why women don't want to commit to a man. I think they just want to be hoes. Cause y'all think about it. As a woman, once you already pregnant, you're pregnant by this particular guy, but you don't want to marry this particular guy for whatever your reasons are, dumb as they are. What is your priority at that point? Because you already about to have a kid, you're pregnant now. So why wouldn't you marry the guy that you got pregnant by? Because you liked him enough to chase him down to get pregnant by him. Ain't too many babies out here happening from the first time somebody had sex. So you enjoyed having sex with him on multiple occasions. So what is the reason that you don't want to just marry that guy that got you pregnant? Now, the thing is, are we going to believe what women say? Well, he didn't have this and he didn't have that. Well, he didn't have it when you got pregnant by him, though. So is that an actual reason? Because I ask women tough questions, and I told y'all beforehand, I asked women, what was the man doing when you got pregnant by him? I literally asked him, I say, what job did he have? What college was he in? Or trade school? Or was he in the military? Or did he own the business? Which of those things was he doing when you got pregnant? And a lot of women tell me he wasn't doing any of them. Now, that's not a surprising thing because I know men who are doing stuff ain't just out here randomly get women pregnant all over the place. So it actually makes sense that she say he wasn't doing any of those things. Because the man who's in the military ain't just trying to have a baby for having a baby's sake. They're trying to do things the right way. They're trying to do it in the family dynamic. A lot of men ain't trying to have a kid unless they actually married. Now, it is a greater amount of men who come from a single mother home who will have children that they're not married to. But a lot of black men actually want to be married when they have their kids. So why aren't the women committing? The stage is set. Black men don't even break up with women. So you can't say they think the man gonna leave. What black woman think a man gonna leave? Have y'all ever met a black woman who honestly thinks a man is gonna leave her? Because women will say that stuff all the time. But how many black men y'all know even left anybody? Because if I'm keeping it real, I got a friend circle and ain't nobody left. If I'm keeping it real, I can't think of any time besides myself that a dude broke up with a woman. I don't remember them telling me about somebody they worked with. They broke up with a woman. I don't remember nobody telling me they went to church with a guy who broke up with a woman. I don't remember somebody telling me they went to college with a guy who broke up with a woman. I don't know anything about black men breaking up with women. Now I know women will say, well, they worried the guy gonna leave. How? What black man leaves? I don't remember those stories. Real talk. And the reason you ain't heard a bunch of stories about it, because obviously black men ain't doing it. So what is the big issue that the woman has to do, even though she's pregnant by a guy? What is going on in her head? Or if I get married to him, how I'm gonna be a hoe out here in the streets? I think that's one of their main issues. And when you think about even Kate Michelle was a person who had Yeah, matter of fact, because she did say something about her dad. Because I forgot about that part. But she did say her dad was a professor and her mom and dad was together. So she said she saw what it looked like to be from a nuclear family. Yet she didn't have one. She got pregnant and just had a kid on her own while she was in college. Yes, she did marry the guy she got pregnant by. And got the nerve to go to Cam and say, why ain't you married a woman? What the heck is going on here, y'all? This is so crazy. Okay. This is crazy as I don't know what. Okay. Shout out to Mr. Sugar. He say, damn, Roger, note that I think about it. I've never broken up with the woman. Ghosted? Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not going to, yeah, and I'm definitely not going to say black men ain't ghosted a woman here and there, but if you ghosted somebody, that means you never had a relationship with them. But men ain't leaving women like that. But they tell us anything for us to accept their nonsense. Because how long they been using this idea that they scared a man gonna leave? How are you afraid a man gonna leave? You don't even know a man who left anybody. Think about that, y'all. How can women be scared that a man's gonna leave and they don't even know a man that ever left? So a lot of stuff is what they call gaslighting. They just be making stuff up so you will just take it. And I think a lot of us as men, we just take too much nonsense out of them. Y'all. Now, Truth Teller just came up, so I'm going to go ahead and give him the floor. What's going on, Truth Teller?
What's going on, y'all? You know, I've been preoccupied lately, but I had to jump in on this one because I saw this retarded interview. And yes, I used the word retardation to describe this. So I'm going to lay this one down on Cam. Because all of the nonsense, she's basically lying the whole time. I don't know if everybody caught the details she was trying to lay down. Absolutely none of it was true. So I can't even, if somebody can come publicly and just blatantly lie like that without even her eye twitching to signify that she got some kind of conscience in there, then that means she's just totally evil. There's no point in me rebutting anything she's saying because you don't try to rebut evil. You just let it go and fight it directly. There's no reason for you to argue with somebody who's just a blatant liar. Because no matter what you say, they gonna lie. So guess what? I put this on Cam. Because Cam, his job was to make sure that if things were being communicated or expressed falsely, that he brought some truth to it. That's part of his job as the host for that discussion. He ain't supposed to just let all kind of lies slide and just let it go. Now, Cam's problem is he believes all them lies. He co-signs them. He hasn't done his due diligence to see if any of what these chicks say about black men are true because he believes it himself, even though that's not how his father represented black men. So Cam got a whole mess of problems on it personally that he needs to deal with as a man. And I know he got a female audience and he don't want to push back and make it look bad, but he can at least give some truth while they talking. He don't necessarily got to be disrespectful to her or rude to her, but his job is to make sure that corrections when things are being misled. He didn't do it. He just want niggas to take care of all these kids out here. Personally, I think Cam wants some strange nigga to take care of his kids if he's not available to. That's just me personally, though. Even though he got all the money and all of that stuff, that's just me personally. I think in the back of his mind, he wants somebody to be able to take care of his kids if he ain't there or he ain't got no money. That's just me personally, though. That ain't nothing publicly. But the worst portion of this whole scenario is, and I'm gonna repeat it, y'all. This is not the opinion of the Roger Report. The opinion of Truth Teller. All right? It's real easy to identify a hoe. If you've had sex with more than one guy, you're a hoe. And the only way you can bring yourself back from that status is if you get married, and that only works once. That's it. That's the rule. If it's anything outside of that, she a hoe. And I'm sorry, we gonna have to get real comfortable with it. Might be your mama, might be your auntie, might be your sister, might be your daughter, might be your best friend. But you have to treat women according to who they are, not who you want them to be. And fellas, man, come on, man. Listen. I'm tired of. It was on. They released it on Father's Day of all. Jesus Christ, man! It just makes me mad. I'm sorry. My emotions got the best of me, and I got to step back because that hoe is evil. I'm sorry. She is evil. That's just crazy. Oh, I got a new premise, Roger. This is the premise, and it's not really a new premise. It is the truth, really. It's not a new premise, and we pretty much all know it. First rule: there's no such thing as an accidental pregnancy.
Yeah, them days been gone. Well,
no, it's not even
different than having a baby. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, good catch, because we got a couple more rules to follow that up.
I have a question.
Because I don't think no man plans to get the hoe pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
No. My question. Did Cam Newton release his show, his podcast on Father's Day purposely, or what was the purpose of doing that?
I don't know if it might be Sunday could possibly be a regular day that he puts it out there. I don't know enough about his stuff to say that. I think that's kind of some people just do stuff on Sundays, and that's all it is too. And Father's Day is gonna always be on a Sunday.
Yeah, because to me, I just find it pretty suspicious that he would do it on Sunday, and this lady would just go up there and just bash black men. And I do agree with you, Teller. What he was just saying just a moment ago.
I'm pretty sure this had nothing to do with that, because that would mean Cam Newton thinks about this stuff on that level. And if you listen to the interview, not a diss to him, but to me, it's almost clear that he don't think about this stuff on that level.
Nah, I think she does though. I think she knew Father's Day was either coming or was that day that this was going. And she did her thing, because they always do this around Father's Day. Either they're the mother and the father, so the nigga doesn't exist at all, or fathers are horrible on Father's Day. It's like, what kind of evil being exists like this? Just come on, man. Now, I do want to finish the rules, because the rules are important. And I know there's going to be a lot of niggas listening that's going to fight with that first rule. There's no such thing as an accidental pregnancy. Think about it. Do some research. Specifically, find out the fertility time frame for a woman every month. You'll be surprised to know that if a hoe just stop having sex for about a week and 2 days, she'll never get pregnant. But never mind. That's just me.
If you meant on the woman's side, I have to agree. Ain't no accident on their side.
No,
I'm from the man's perspective, because we don't know when they ovulate. They do.
Exactly. We don't know. And for that simple fact that we don't know, women are 100% responsible for pregnancy.
Yeah, that's the law.
First off, they're responsible for pregnancy. Now, I know the law make us financially responsible for it, and the culture tries to guilt trip us, but we don't have any control over that. If they don't want to get pregnant, they don't have to get pregnant. You can't make them pregnant unless they want to be. And if they do actually get pregnant, that don't mean no baby is coming. That's still completely up to them. You as a man have no say in either of those circumstances. So guess what? They have to be responsible, because you have no responsibility during that entire time frame. But, if the baby come because they decided to, nigga, you on the hook. So I suggest you plan out your future accordingly. The last rule of it all is you're only a father if they want you to be. Right? Because how the law is written, I'm outside the wind blowing, y'all. I'm outside the wind blowing. You're only a father as long as a woman wants you to be. There has been women who have on record abusing the kids. When the father tries to take him to court to get custody, he is denied. The law enforces that as well as the culture enforces that. If you decide that you want to pick up your child and take them somewhere that she might not like, let's say you're going to take him to a basketball game, but she don't want him going to no game because the rest of the kids she got can't go. Well, guess what? Your son can't go. What if you bring your son McDonald's, but you don't bring none for the rest of the kids? Well, guess who's not eating McDonald's? If anybody remembers that. So you in this world that we live in right now, you can't be a father unless she lets you to be a father. And I know a lot of us don't want to hear that, but it's the truth because they have all the power. But for some strange reason, we're all cool with taking some of the responsibility off their lap. I don't know why y'all niggas is cool with that. Because we'll have some people arguing saying, no, but you're the father, it's your seed, it's this, that, third. I don't got no say over that seed. Unless somebody else, two different parties gives it to me. The court, the state, or the mother. If all three of them don't give me my fatherhood rights, I don't have any. It just is what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that there's some serious stuff in what Truth Teller is saying there. And my thing is I don't take responsibility without control. That's me. I've been that way since I was a child. I do not accept responsibility for stuff that I do not control. And as I was growing up, a lot of times stuff would pop off, and I've just always been against that. I ain't taking it. If I don't have no control, that ain't my responsibility. It is what it is. Y'all got to figure out however way you can. All right. Now, Shark Sims has joined us, so I'm gonna go ahead and give Shark the mic. Shark, you got it, brother.
How y'all doing, fellas?
Doing well, doing well. Now, somebody say that y'all got to unmute and say something now. Y'all got to unmute and say.
Nah, they cool. I know they did. So from what I analyzed through life, and even looking at what Cam Newton said about him being rebellious, the reason why he's not with those women is because he didn't submit to them. And that is why most black men can't be fathers to their children, because we're not going to submit to the woman. Like True Teller said, if you want to take your child to a basketball game, she's going to tell you no. You're supposed to be able to take your child wherever the hell you want them to go, because these are the lessons that you're going to put in them, and these are the things that you need them to see to become the child, the woman, or the man you want them to become.
Did we lose Shark or that's it?
I think we lost him.
Now they're going after Shark now. Golly. I guess a little too real, a little too quick, you know. But yeah, there is something to that, because if you cannot raise your child the way you want to raise your child, then I don't believe you should take responsibility for how your child is being raised. I don't think that's the correct thing to do. Never take responsibility over things that you do not control unless that is your choice. Now, if you want to take responsibility for something you don't control, yeah, it's fine for you to do as a man, but don't let nobody force that on you. Yeah, if my son breaks your window, I'm going to take responsibility so I can get it off my son. Sure.
Microphone check.
No issue with that. Okay, yeah, we hear you now, because they definitely got you, brother. They definitely got you.
So I think I stopped when I was talking about they're taking them to see things that you want them to see, because these things, will help mold them into what you want them to be. My second question is, I don't even understand how Cam Newton is a talking head for the black community. Like, he's a football player. Where did he come from with this super podcast out of the blue? I'm looking at it as this is controlled opposition, because like somebody said it earlier, his show is nothing like Club Shay Shay. Like Shannon Sharp, they do, and he's a football player too, but he has a team behind him that does diligent research on whoever's coming up there. And he be saying things to people that be blowing their head. Like, how you knew that, Shannon? You understand what I'm saying? Cam has no knowledge of anything he's talking about. He's just sitting there and listening and letting these women just spew anything out. Everybody knows black women get divorced at an 80% rate. How can you have a family like that? Second, you shouldn't have a kid with a chick who already have a kid. Therefore, you ain't got to buy nobody McDonald's but your own kid. And my third thing is, what is the difference between Cam Newton and Tyler Perry?
I think
Yeah,
Tyler
I think
Perry does a great job of making money off these hoes.
And
He is
Cam Newton is doing
superbly.
and Cam
He's
Newton is doing the
trying.
same thing.
Cam
Tyler
Newton
Perry
is in
just puts it in a
kindergarten.
Tyler Perry just puts it in an artistic view. Cam Newton just lets them spew.
Now listen, Tyler Perry had built an industry on taking advantage of these hoes. He's technically a pimp. I'm sorry, he just is. He put out movies with horrible name titles that they go and support, no matter how bad it makes him look. He on a different level, man. He just is.
But he knows better too.
Yeah,
And
he
that's
do.
the
But
thing. These black men these black men that are letting these women they basically submitting to women. And that is the only problem we having in the black community is they want you to submit to them. This is why they run with this I want a partner thing.
This is the thing about Cam, and now I'm saying y'all got to pick up on what's being said, which is like, I may finish the rest of the interview out, but I did listen to like more than an hour of it. I just didn't expect it to be that long, but seeing that it's Cam Newton, I should have known better because he will do some long stuff. So I should have known better than to wait as long as I did to watch the whole thing. I should have known it would be 2 hours, 3 hours long. But this is the thing. Cam said he's a rebellious man. If you are a rebellious man, that means you're gonna rebel against other men. Think about it. So he's gonna take a woman's side. And Cam says it himself. He's gonna let women do basically what they want to do on there, which is why it's a very woman-friendly situation. Now, as they were saying, the women, don't necessarily rock with him like that. But that's just because they ain't heard the man talk. Because if they heard what he's saying, he's gonna draw a very strong female audience at some point. That's for sure. He's definitely gonna do that. Because he's gonna let them say whatever they want to say, and he don't challenge nothing. Not from what I can tell. I've watched whole interviews of Cam doing stuff. Every time I presented something to y'all on one of my shows where there was a clip, I didn't watch that whole interview. That's why I said I should have known it would be longer than just about an hour or so. Because that's what Cam does. He does everything he can to protect women's image. Point blank, period. That's why I picked up on today that the women that he's had children with are rebellious to him, but he wasn't trying to even say it. It was the fact that K. Michelle kept on digging that made it come out. So Cam is gonna take their side. That's just who he is as a person. When Cam is ready to stop doing that and stop being so rebellious, then I'm pretty sure he won't have no issues from beyond that point. But at this particular point in the game, he's trying to be there for black women. He wants to be the guy that black women come to. He wants to be the man. Cam got some ego in him, and he wants to be the quote unquote alpha male from a woman's perspective. He don't want to be an alpha male as a man who leads men. He wants to be the alpha male who can quote unquote have sex with a bunch of women. And which he has kind of shown, because think about it, when I did that show where he was coming at Jason Whitlock because he was mad that Jason Whitlock said what he said. And he was like, you can't even get that caliber woman. No, Joyce said specifically, we all can get her if we fulfill certain categories. And he actually does fulfill one of those categories. But Cam was offended by that because he didn't want to think that a person in his perspective from a female alpha position, that somebody like a Jason Whitlock can get can get the same chick. I'll say he was offended by that idea. That don't stop it from being true.
Mm-hmm.
He's just offended by it. That's all. But it's very real that Jason Whitlock can have her. It's that simple at the end of the day. So Cam gonna do what he can to help black women out.
And it's nothing wrong with helping black women out. The problem is he's not helping them out by just letting them say whatever, all kinds of wrong things. It comes a time where like you gotta say like, oh well, you know that's not true. And Cam, he doesn't do interviews. He has conversations.
Exactly. I definitely was gonna say that, so I'm in full agreement.
He thinks he's providing a therapeutic service. That's the other problem.
But this is it's therapeutic for him.
No, well, yeah, it's therapeutic for him, but he thinks he's being therapeutic for them, which is why these conversations aren't what they're supposed to be, right? You're bringing on a guest. Your job as a host is to have questions for the guest, have them answer it. If something sounds crazy and you know it's not true, you're supposed to challenge it and bring the discussion back to something more along the lines that most people, your audience, can absorb. You don't just have them making up stuff about a specific group of people in your community, and you just like, oh yeah, it's yeah, you know, I was broken, nigga, come on, man. And quick question: he grew up in a 2-parent household. His father's a pastor. How in the hell did he get broken? That's something else. That's crazy.
Well, he has admitted that he's rebellious, so that's why I can't put it on how he was raised or anything like that. He's admitted that he's a rebellious dude.
Let's use the right word. He's stupid, and that's coming from Truth Teller, not the Roger Report. All right, that's stupid. You just to rebel because you want to rebel. That sounds like you're a chick, right? It'd be different if something happened to you in your life, and through certain experiences, you've had to rebel to survive. Got it, but that's not who he is.
But Truth Teller, the New Black Church is all about females not taking accountability. You understand?
That's not him, though. That's not him, though.
Huh?
That's not him, though.
That don't sound like his dad. That don't sound like his dad.
Even if his father is a preacher, I haven't seen one preacher that whole female responsibilities other than Geno Jennings.
Okay, go ahead, Jado.
I was just saying that
there's some other preachers out there to do it, but they don't get a lot of pub, especially when it comes to social media. But go ahead, Jado.
Exactly. That they're in a minority, so he is exactly what. I mean, he's putting. I mean, I think you guys. I ain't trying to big up Cam Newton or nothing, man. I don't think you guys give him enough credit, man. He's playing to his audience, and when he's saying he's rebellious, this is how I take it. He likes to have sex with these hoes, man. That's what he's saying. And he's appealing to the hoes out there. So he's doing exactly what I'm just saying. Like he's appealing to liberal, hoes, man. Yeah, and I think he's very, I mean, again, I'm not saying this guy is some brilliant, genius or nothing like that, but I think we kind of downplay him like maybe he is just a dumb jock. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit, man. But I think he's just playing to his audience, man. A lot of women find him attractive, man. A lot of people, even if he's not saying something very intellectual, he's entertaining. He's bringing the hoes on board so they can talk and spew all this nonsense. It's verbal porn. That's how I kind of classify it.
Let me say this, y'all. Let me say this. During the interview, K. Michelle brought up the whole thing about he ain't really looked at super good with the women, and his whole thing was he has a concern of looking too down. So even though women may not be his main audience, that is the audience he wants at the end of the day. So he is doing what he got to do to get the audience that he wants. And let me read this real quick, and then let me give it to you. I think that was H. Rebels.
That was me. I'll go ahead and go after you, Roger.
Yeah, let me read this real quick by Mr. Sugar to you. He said, in Cam's defense, female nature may look completely different to him due to his stature. Women don't have the same reaction to him that they would have for a regular Joe. And I think that's something that should be taken into consideration because he is a sizable guy, which means even when he was a young man, he was a very big dude in comparison to other men around him. And then once he left college, he was rich. So kind of is what it is on that one. Go ahead, H. Rebels.
Yeah, I was going to say, first of all, sorry about the technical issues. I'm actually in a stationary spot now. I'm going to be up for a little bit. So there was some stuff I wanted to get in, but I was listening when I could hear you guys. And you actually made a really good point. We don't pull rank enough. And what I mean by that is this: is that you talked about community, and let me go ahead and just define it real quick. And I'm looking at the dictionary definition right now. It's a group of people living in the same place, having a particular characteristic in common, right? They have shared interests, goals, and common attitudes, and basically they're together and they're in a group, meaning that shared interests, shared goals, shared aspirations, all of that stuff. Basically, everybody going in the same direction. And what we have is a situation where you have a good portion of black men and black women who are not going in the same direction. And we can look at that. We can go back to Ice Cube in that interview where the women tried to separate themselves when he was trying to do the contract with Black America. We could talk about how women are not, they're producing children with men who don't want to be husbands and fathers, but then they want to sit up here and talk about community as if somehow they're a part of it. We have to let them know that they're not a part of it. And by the way, Roger, I go to other platforms and I kind of represent you and basically some of the talking points and the issues that we talk about here. And I can mostly get the men to agree. There'll be women who disagree oftentimes, but the men, when I talk about the stuff we talk about here, generally they disagree. So when I tell them about community and what it actually is, they're like, "Yep, I don't know who this dude is. I don't know where he's coming from, but you know what? I agree with him." So there are men who will agree with this. So really, it's the men who have to say, "Look, you ain't even a part of the community." I like what you said as it relates to what K. Michelle was talking about, is that she's wagging her finger, talking about black men, trying to actually give us advice when she's not even living it herself. She's made a whole long life list of mistakes, and now she's sitting here appealing to us. And then on top of that, she's trying to compare us to a group of men who are not even anything like us, don't have the same issues and problems, and literally for the most part have the cooperation and the respect of the group of women that's part of their group. So they're going in the same direction. So she's trying to compare us to a group of people who we're not comparable to when the women aren't doing something different. I would actually challenge her and say, look, most men are doing what they're supposed to do. Now, are you doing what you're supposed to do as a woman? And I'm gonna say one other thing too, as it relates to this. K. Michelle missed an opportunity. She could have got up there and said, look, women, men, but women specifically, these are the long list of mistakes I've made over my life. I was a stripper. I did this. I did that. I had all these proposals. I turned them down. I chose poor. I chose poorly. Bad men. I had a kid out of wedlock. All of this stuff. You know what she didn't do? She didn't do any of that. She just said, men, 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 men. What are y'all gonna do? Y'all are the problem. And that is the problem with these shows and these types of discussions, especially when a celebrity does this, because they completely, especially when the women, they completely ignore all the mistakes that they've made. And you rarely, if ever, see them take accountability for all of their bad choices, but then they always put it on somebody else. They put it on the men, or they put it on somebody else, or a system, or some nebulous, blameless entity that you can't actually point to instead of doing it for themselves. But I'll go ahead and
Hoes
stop right
don't
there. I
make
know you guys
mistakes,
got a
my man.
response, so go ahead.
Okay? Hoes don't make mistakes, man. They make bad decisions that they have to pay for in the future. And
That
if they
should be on a t-shirt.
don't want to pay for their bad decisions, they call mistakes.
And that should be on a t-shirt. Hoes don't make mistakes. Because that is what it is. And my thing is this. Yeah, she didn't blame herself for anything that she did. And my thing is, we all humans. We all can make mistakes. We all can mess up. I will say, at least Cam, when he got questioned about it, was at least willing to admit that he did things. He said it was out of immaturity that he was doing stuff. But that's at least acknowledging I did something wrong. She never acknowledged anything she did wrong. And how can you tell a group of men what they did wrong and you ain't even look like you trying to do it the right way? I ain't never heard K. Michelle saying she trying to get married to some good man. I ain't never heard it. Now, maybe that's what she want to do, but I ain't never heard it. And the thing is, you got a kid. You didn't marry your baby daddy. I don't understand what the problem is. You had the talent to be a singer and a great songwriter. You ended up getting rich and famous. I don't see why you're not married to your baby's father. Because if money ain't your issue and you live in the life that you wanted to live and you got the career that you wanted to have, why not have that with the man you had a child by? But obviously that's not her goal. So why is she asking Cam about his goal when it comes to having a family? You ain't trying to have a family. My thing is, don't ask the man to do something you ain't willing to do yourself.
Well, yeah. So
or even align with it, because I'm not saying men and women got to do the same thing, but you're not even trying to align with that decision. I want y'all to create homes, but you're not living a life that says you want to align with a man that's creating homes. Go ahead,
Yeah,
A
Roger.
Travel.
She just sounds like one of the most confused people that there could be. Because, like you said, she's saying that she had a child, she could have had a husband. She's doing everything correctly. She needs guidance. She needs to be underneath a man's control. But she's talking badly to men. Don't know how to act. She's just all over the place. This very confused woman. That's you could not marry her and expect anything, because she is not willing to submit and be under control, and she needs to be under control of somebody.
yeah. So the other thing too.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah.
A
So
Travel. Go ahead.
yeah. The other thing too with this show. So look, Cam Newton and people like him, Cam Newton, Shannon Sharp, the Pivot Podcast, Ryan Clark, all of these folks, right? When they're doing interviews as it relates to sports or entertainment, nothing wrong with that. That's their lane. They need to stay in their lane. What I've seen them do is they get off track. They start talking about family issues, politics, even religion sometimes, and relationships. Nothing they know anything about. Now they try to take what they're doing and apply it from their personal life and apply it to everybody else. But remember, these folks are living a different life than the average person. So a lot of that stuff doesn't even apply. And even if it does, they're not actually. You got a lot of the folks who were doing it, like like Michelle, right? Like her, and she's not even a good example of what it is she's talking about. So again, she doesn't have the moral standing to even give any advice, and people need to be checking her on that. And it should be primarily women, but the men definitely need to do it. But the thing is that when I see these shows, that's one thing I've noticed with a lot of these podcasts is if your area is entertainment, you need to stay in your lane. If your area is sports, you need to stay in that. If your area is politics, stay within that. Don't go off script. Don't get out of pocket, because a lot of times when I see them get off script, you have these situations where it's very unclear, and then they paint a negative picture. And you notice when she was talking, not one person, even Cam Newton himself, nobody talked about statistics. Nobody brought out who's having kids by who. Nobody brought about the what you can reference with the Department of Health, vital statistics, the census, or any of that. See, when you're having a conversation with us, informed men, informed black men, we're going to be able to give you those stats off the top of our head, because we've done the research. You think Cam Newton has done research? No. You think she did any research? No, absolutely not. So basically, again, it's they're putting out false stereotypes and even misinformation, and then expecting people to just take it, absorb it, and then put it all on the men. So anyway, I'll go ahead and stop right there.
Now I'm gonna say this. I actually disagree with you on the level that they shouldn't be talking about or staying in their lane. I don't mind people, because everybody's a whole person. But this is what the thing is. If you're gonna deal with something, do a little bit of research. Have some understanding about what you're talking about. Look into the stuff. I'm not gonna tell people what they can't do. But if you're gonna do something, do it well. Do it with some responsibility. Make an effort to do a good job. I think the issue is some of us believe that because we're big in one area, that we're so big in that particular area, I don't have to be good in another area. If you're going to do a podcast and you're going to take your podcast seriously, then do it seriously. I'm not going to say any of the men can't. They real men at the end of the day. They do have whole lives. Just because you play football as a profession don't mean you don't know anything else. But once you say I'm going to put on a podcast, just be good at it. And I think that's part of that's what more of the issue is. I go out and make the trouble to be good at what I do, which is why I can easily say I got the best show on social media. I make an effort to be good. Y'all think it's just easy being this good? It ain't just easy like that. I make an effort to be good. I am working on my shows throughout the day. Okay, there's some shows it takes me multiple days to do stuff for. So I do have to be ready by showtime, but that don't mean I just started looking at stuff a half hour before the show came on. No, I looked into some stuff, point blank, period. Now,
Okay, okay, I mean, okay, I can agree with you on that, Roger. But that's my whole point. Again, most of what she was talking about was misinformation. He didn't challenge it, and I understand he's trying to cater to a primarily female audience, that's the wrong thing for him to be doing if he's actually trying to get to the real truth of the matter. And that's the problem. That again, that would be like me going on a podcast talking about
Age Rebels, that's not his objective, though.
microbiology, and I'm not even in that field. You know, what do I know about microbiology? See what I'm saying?
Hey, but Age Rebels, I agree. Like, yeah, but statistics and stuff, they're not getting into that because that's not what they're there for. That's not their objective. That's not their mission. It's most. That's why like I said, it may be hyperbolic. I'm just saying it's like verbal porn. Like again, Cam Newton wears these crazy hats and has these crazy outfits. It's not about being intellectual. Like I don't know. I mean, I guess we're expecting too much, but it's not about statistics. They're not trying to get to any truth. It's about evoking emotions and maybe get some type of yeah. So if you look at those the comment section, you'll see what it evokes, man. Yo, girl, yeah, girl, you telling the truth. She spoke to the black community and all this various stuff, man. So that's why again I equivocated it to like verbal porn.
No, I think you are making a very good point that people need to get. And this is the thing, y'all. I never blame the people who putting the product out. If you buy the product, you the one signed off on it. I don't buy bad stuff. If I buy something and it don't work, I don't buy from them no more. It's just that easy. So as far as the content creation, they are creating the content, and I'm gonna just tell the truth. The average person who does content is specifically doing it to make money, because most people are so limited in their thinking when it comes to American people that if it ain't about making money, it ain't about nothing. That's just the reality. I know that about people.
Bingo.
You know? So,
But they're sitting up there talking about problems and not actually, getting to the root of the actual problems.
Because solving a problem ain't what they're there for. What they're there for is to earn money.
Yes.
So and that would be my point. So then, what's with all the caterwauling and the finger pointing and the shaming and everything else? What y'all need to do with this and that and the third and whatever. Like this is why we can't take it
on black men. It's big. It's good business to talk bad on black men or allow someone to talk bad on black men. It's good business, in a sense.
Yeah, it's good business, and what they do is that they profit off it as well too. Every time you go on TikTok, you hear all these black women, calling us black men dusty and everything else, and doing white man worshiping. They're making money out of it.
And that's a general thing, and that's kind of authorized in the United States. The thing is that again, I know you guys don't do it too much, but every now and then when I pop out on these different platforms and talk to people, I kind of shut a lot of people up and shut them down. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this guy, he actually knows data. I didn't think about that." Yeah, because we need to know this. We need to know the statistics, and it actually debunks a lot of the information, and it catches a lot of people actually off guard. So much so to the point that a lot of times, Roger hadn't done it to me yet, but a lot of times I get kicked off panels because I come with too much information. But my whole point is that y'all agree with you, Roger. They're not trying to actually solve anything.
Slow down.
Yeah, they're just, again, it's a money-making venture, and it's basically another way to just dump on a group, intellectualized misandry, right?
There you go.
Okay,
there you go.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Emperor.
It was just pure entertainment. Okay, nothing to see here. He's not going to challenge her because that's not his goal. That's not his job. That's not how he makes his money. He's there for entertainment, and he's here for entertainment. So it wasn't necessarily about an intellectual challenge, so to say. So they were both doing what they do best for their money and to entertain people. I don't blame them. But if they truly want some intellectual challenge, they can always highlight the black ministry.
Well, but the thing is, if you go into this stuff, you got to make a decision. Now, I done said it multiple times that don't even have the records of it anymore. That when it come down to it, I'm messaging before money. I have to sacrifice money in order to put the message out. So I actually take my stuff very seriously, but I don't take it serious just as a podcast. I take it serious as I'm doing something that's going to end up helping my people. Now, do I want the money that other people are doing? Oh, I absolutely do. And, you know, in my world, if I could do this and without having to do other things outside of this to make money, I would love that. But in order for me to get the correct information out, that's not going to happen no time soon. You know, I had to go through that. Well, I mean, you never know. I could blow up any given day now, but y'all got to understand, I started this in 2018. When you're trying to put out real and correct and right information and not just pushing out a false narrative against black men, yeah, they're going to come against you. And they've been letting me know that, and I ain't tripped about it. I done been kicked off of, well, I done had multiple channels taken down here. I've been kicked off of Facebook. I've been kicked off of Twitch. I've been kicked off of X and kicked off of TikTok. Just is what it is, y'all. When you want the real thing out there, it's not that easy to get it out there. It just is what it is. Now I could just, hey, let me just do something else so I can make a bunch more money, or I can keep trying to push the message out there. So as a content creator, you got to make your decision, and it is what it is. So I'm just saying I'm never gonna put the content creator as responsible for what you watch or listen to. I've never done that. I'm very consistent with that. People talk about music. I don't think music hurts your child. I think the fact that you don't care about your child hurts your child. Because if you actually talk to your child and let them understand that music ain't nothing but entertainment anyway, maybe your child don't take it so seriously. Same thing about a television show. Same thing about a movie. Same thing about a book. Whatever you're talking about, it's still your responsibility at the end of the day. So Cam is putting out what Cam wants to put out. I'm not going to tell him he can't put it out because I'm not for censoring people like that. What I'm going to do is point out the problems with what he put out and just do a better job than him. And, you know, and I can say that easily and ain't got to think twice about it because Cam got a bigger name than me, got more money than me and everything, but I'm still better than him. And I'm okay with that. You know, and if you want the truth out, you got to do what you can to get it out at the end of the day. And I'm okay with that. But going behind this road of truth ain't that easy a road, and it ain't that easy. I mean, it's hard enough that you got to get past what it is. You know, I was just literally talking to somebody earlier today about how people do stuff. And I'm like, hey, the world ain't finna change around you. All you can do is go through it. I ain't got no softening advice to say if you just do this, it's gonna get better or easy. No, it's not. You just got to go through it. You know, Cam doing what he want to do. He let the women come on and say whatever they want to say because he's a very pro-woman dude. It is what it is on that note. And when it comes to black folks, a lot of them are at the end of the day. But let's not act like he ain't doing this for money. You know. Now, if Cam want to say he's doing it for some other reason, he welcome to say so. But as far as I know, he's doing this for money.
All right. Well, that has to be one of the reasons because he's not doing it for anything as it relates to making any corrections, solving any real problems. And really all he did with that particular podcast, and the same thing with when he had Cheyenne Bryant on there, is that even you know, some of the people that pass through like Charleston White, like he just kind of perpetuates and upholds negative stereotypes and basically these talking points that don't have any statistical or verifiable backing. You know, if it's something negative, that's the thing that holds and sticks in people's minds. So, but at any rate, I'm at my place of business right now, so I got to get this knocked out. But I just kind of wanted to pop up and say that, you know, if women are going to do stuff like this, they're really missing an opportunity to actually highlight their life mistakes, advise other women, and then especially the younger women that are, you know, going down that path to either self-correct or just not do it at all. So she missed an opportunity, which is why, you know, which is just another reason that she's not, you know, qualified and nobody's picking her. But yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to say, Roger. But thanks for letting me up. All right.
Hey, no problem. No problem.
Charleston White might be the only guest I ever seen on there that he had pushback for.
Yeah. And the thing is this: if you've made it to your 40th birthday and you ain't made no mistakes, you a liar. That's
You a damn lie.
Who made it to 40 and ain't did nothing wrong? I ain't made no poor decisions. Come on, man. Let's be real. You know, that's why I ain't never even tried to present myself as no perfect person, because I mess up too. You know what I'm saying? It is wise to learn from your own mistakes. It's just wiser to learn from other people's. Now, I haven't had to do everything myself to learn certain lessons, but I'm still not perfect. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say I'm no genius walking around. I'm good. You know, I'm just gonna do the best I can. But at the end of the day, anytime stuff like this content is made, there has to be a counter narrative to it. It's important for somebody to get out there and start pointing out the holes in the stories that people are presenting. And my thing about K. Michelle is, and what that small clip did, it posed a question to black men. Yes, it's going to really apply to more successful black men, but it's still about every black man. Why aren't you creating a family? But the women ain't trying to be part of your family. So the whole thing is they're trying to blame you for what women are doing. And black men don't catch that. Why are you asking me about what I'm doing? I'm a man. I have a home. If I have a child and the black woman is not at my home, that's her fault. Why are you bothering me because she's not here? She has a choice. She chose to be somewhere else. So she chose to have a broken family, not me. And see, the thing is, somebody like Cam ain't figured it out that it's okay to just say that. You know, if I'm Cam, I'd be stunting on these hoes. Real talk. Look, I done played in the NFL and I was great. I done had big contracts. I done made hundreds of millions of dollars. If a chick not with me, she's stupid. That's real talk. What she needs that I can't give her?
Ass whooping.
So don't tell me nothing about what I'm doing. All these women have an opportunity that the average woman ain't gonna never get. I'm rich. Why ain't you here? If somebody don't want to live with the rich guy that treat them good, they stupid. And I that's what it is to me. But as black men, we don't want to say stuff like that. And like I said, if you paid attention to that interview, Cam was saying that he be protecting these women. They rebellious to him, but he don't want to come out and just say it plainly. He is the rich black guy that a lot of women technically dream about, because he's 6'5" and over, if my memory's correct. Or if he ain't 6'5", he's very close to it. He got to be at least 6'4". He is not a short dude at all. And he's tall even for tall guys. Because people say 6 feet is tall. And I'm thinking he about 6'5", truth be told. Okay. The man has a great build, point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? That's not no little dude. That's nobody you can accuse of not working out and anything like. And Cam got a nice smile too. He comes off as a very pleasant person at the end of the day, even though he's a really big dude. And the women say he's handsome all day long. So why aren't you living with this rich, handsome guy?
Because
and I'm supposed to look at Cam like something wrong with him.
He's not gonna let a woman dictate what he's supposed to be doing.
Repeat that for me, Sean, because I was saying something when you started. Say it again.
Because he's rebellious and he's not gonna let a woman dictate what he's supposed to be doing.
And you know what? And my thing is, that's the type of stuff that needs to be pointed out. We as black men let people dump on us about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with us. And when I see Cam, I see this big, rich, black professional athlete who now done made it in podcasting after his career is over. I don't see what the problem is with him. I'm trying to figure out, if that was my sister, and my sister had a baby by a dude like this, I'm trying to figure out, why ain't you married to him? Why won't you submit? And if you was the first chick, I guess he was still playing in the NFL at that time. If that's my sister, I'm trying to ask my sister, why won't you submit so this great NFL player will marry you? You'll be good for life. We ain't got to worry about you no more. Why won't you do it?
Yeah, and Roger, he was that first woman. He was the first baby mama. He was presenting her like a wife. He had her out there. He wasn't fooling around. She wouldn't act right, according to him.
Exactly. Thank you. He wouldn't act right. When black women want to be the leader, and a lot of them get that baby out of you and think and then really think that they're going to lead. I think you had played a clip one time, Roger, when the dude had came home from work and he just wanted to take a nap, and she was like, "No, you can't do that." Da 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 da. And he was like, "Well, why I can't do that?" And she showed him the ring on her finger and like, "Oh, cause you married to me, and I run this thing." That's what it is. That's why most
Yeah,
dudes ain't with their baby mother now.
that's right.
Cause she
Yeah,
trying to run the
because
show.
see what women are in this day and age, they're looking for a sponsor. They want sponsors and everything else, and they want to show the world, well, I got a man, we're married and everything else, but behind closed doors, there's a lot of conflict going on. You know, she basically runs the show and everything else. And you just mentioned about that brother, wanting to take a nap, and she said no, and everything else. That just goes to show you why marriages here in the United States, particularly among black men and black women, are just going downhill because when black women want to become leaders and everything else. The only time they're not leaders is when they're married to a white man. You best believe that they're going to be submitting to white men too, because if not and everything else, they're back out in the streets, crying and fussing and everything else. No man won't take me and everything, just like how Miss K Michelle's acting right now.
But even when they pick a white man, he's one of them subtle pushover white men. You don't see them getting married to no Harley Davidson, ZZ Top beard having white man that'll slap fire out of one of their behinds for
Yeah,
talking that nonsense.
they do get with them, but once they step out of line, they get found in suitcase.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what is the black woman doing? The black woman would take any white man. He don't have to be anything, and that's that's the major issue. Now, when it comes to a black man, yeah, they do want to be the leader. That's a very real thing, and unfortunately, somebody like Cam being in his position, he don't take control the way he could, obviously, because he got time, he got resources. You know what I'm saying? If I was Cam, all them kids would be living with me, and then women gonna live where I in my family home. And if they don't want to live there, it's gonna be hell to pay for them because I ain't doing nothing extra for any of them. And why you don't want to live with me? And I'm this big old great former NFL player with a great podcast. Why you don't want to live with me? That's on you. I'm rich over here.
Yeah.
Ray Roger, I'm not 6'5", but I came home today. My wife got my food ready for me. She wants to know if I need some rest. She got my
Shit. Here we go again.
got the tea. She's saying, get rest, take care of yourself, being a little sweetheart. Si se puede.
No, I ain't never met a black man. I ain't saying he ain't out there, but I ain't never met a black man that told me his wife told him anything as anything like that. My own mama said, I said, yo, what happened with you and such and such? Oh, once he got a new job, he started acting funny. Bitch, once he got a new job and got where he wanted to be, and he started giving requests, you ain't want to fall in line. And that's exactly what I told my mama, face to face.
It's bad long-term thinking because these women, they're thinking short-term and not long-term. In the long term, if she obeys her husband, she's going to get what he has if she act right. But I don't know why they can't connect.
They ain't thinking past 4 minutes ahead. That I say is a running joke. But but I'm gonna say this: I think women have been acting the same way. Men just get better jobs, and then the whole thing is they just want to double down on the fact that I ain't gonna do nothing for you. So I don't think a man changing job has ever been an issue. They've been that way from day one, and the fact that you got a better job still wasn't good enough to make them do better because you didn't get better skin. You still a nigga, because that's how black women see black men, and we don't want to really think that way or assume that about them. But if we just watch how they act toward us, they treat us like we niggas at the end of the day.
Hey, you can become the president and make her the first lady and still not get no respect.
Yeah, he still was getting treated like a nigga. And the thing is, that's just how women see you as men. And there's guys who want to believe that ain't true because they don't want to think that about themselves because they attach how a woman thinks of them to their own self-esteem because they're not men yet. They don't really understand manhood. I say that. They don't really understand. Can't say they're not men. If you're 18, technically you're a man. But they don't understand manhood. So they think a woman's view of them is somehow attached to their manhood, which is a very sad thing. Y'all. But what I've just noticed is we about to hit the 3-hour mark. So I'm going to get ready to close this down. So what I will do is I'll do a round of closing statements. AL, you ain't sitting in a while. Are you there? Do you want a closing statement? AL going once, AL going twice. He might be distracted by something. Tunnel runner, you next in line. You gotta go ahead.
Okay. I'll just say she's just a bad example of feminism. She's a bad example for women in general. She's just a confused woman that needs somebody to guide her. But now she's kind of old and out of the game. So women, get right when you're young. And I'll land right there.
Champ card for life is on you.
K. Michelle is just, is a swirler, was a former swirler who's been rejected by who's been rejected by men of both sides, black or white, and she's hitting the wall. She's hitting the wall and she's cracking, and you're seeing it right now. And my advice for her is, go seek a therapist. I'll land my plane there.
Shark, it's up to you.
I don't listen to no black woman that been on Love and Hip Hop and got a weave. It just ain't happening. So, K. Michelle, she should just be disqualified from any conversation, period.
Emperor, you got it.
Yeah. Like I said, hoes don't make mistakes. Hoes don't make bad decisions. Let them leave with their bad decisions. And no reach back. No reach back. Once you're out, leave them out and let nature sort things out.
All right, y'all. Well, that's it for me, y'all. It's been another great show, if you ask me. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe if you like this type of content. Everybody hit the like button. You've been sitting here all this time. Hit the like button already, you cheap mutt. Hit the like button. Real talk, y'all. But it has been a great show. I'll see y'all tomorrow. If you're new, we do this 9 a.m. Chicago time. Not where you happen to live. You might be in the Bronx, but we do this Chicago time. Okay, 9 a.m. Long live the Habitual Line Steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.